This meeting going at 1:30?
Yeah, then we'll open.
Ready?
Oh, yeah. You getting a jump on it?
I got 1:30.
Really?
Yeah.
Michael, watch out.
129
Of course it
there.
is.
Come on.
I got an Apple phone.
Okay.
Apple. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Joe,
Here.
Mike,
Here.
Glenn,
Here.
Nate,
Here.
no Russ.
Russ is absent. Is he gone for the season?
No, he don't leave till, I think he had something today. He's still working through, the golf course through Sunday, I think.
Gotcha. Is there any conflicts of interest? Is there any public comment on agenda items? Public comment on agenda items? Anyone? Does everyone have the agenda? Anyone need an agenda? So they know. Comment? Can you share one? I don't have an extra, I just wanna make sure everyone's had a chance to.
It's on the
see it.
website too.
Use them all.
It is available on the deltacd.org website.
Oh.
The same one, if you wanna jump on there, there's one that's just like this in color, or you can scroll. Anyone for public comment on agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on. Approval of agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay. Nate and Glenn. Is there any additions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, thank you very much. Approval of past meeting minutes. We have a meeting minute, or meetings from September 27th. I didn't get it. Did you get my emails?
Yeah, you sent them to the board and me, like on Monday or Tuesday, right?
Well, I first sent them on September 29th and asked for you to complete them.
I think that was the same as Glenn had answered back that he didn't see that one either, so I don't know if I did or not. But anyway, that meeting was almost 4 hours. So to try to go through that for the minutes, I'm gonna need a full day on a recording, because there's no way that the minutes that I took that day, I'll be able to just write them up that way.
Hold on for a second.
That was
No.
a very, very long meeting.
I understand, but I provided you a draft. It's on our website.
All right, yeah, you gave me
Two,
a draft, but I'm gonna have to listen to it tape to be able to
No, you're not.
write those up.
You just need to go through it and fill in the blanks. That's all you had to do. You should have responded to
Well,
us.
how am I gonna do that, Joe, without listening to the tape?
Can I get a motion to table that?
I'll motion that we table it.
Sport.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Standing committee reports. Personnel. Glenn? Want to update us where the district manager position posting is
Well,
at?
we're moving ahead with getting it posted. This takes a little bit of time to get it posted, but right now we're posted with the MACD, Conservation Board. These are separate posting systems. Our system, the DCD district site, I believe I've sent it to NMU with Rachel as well as she has too. I believe NMU has it posted. I reached out to University of Wisconsin, and I'm going to be reaching out to University of Michigan shortly. And then hopefully we'll be doing it on Facebook as well. So that's where we stand right now. We're trying.
Michigan Works and the Daily Press.
Daily Press is done. I revised it and sent it to her. That'll be in this Saturday, and then subsequently
Each Saturday.
each Saturday.
The Michigan Works posted it.
Michigan Works has got it. Okay, Michigan Works. And again, I'm gonna go to Texas A&M, which is a national one. Their website's been down until Sunday. So as soon as I get on there, I'll get it posted on their site. And I've gone through their site, actually, it's a national reach, so that's where we stand right
What about
now.
Northern Michigan? I thought I saw something about that.
Yeah, I sent
I missed that.
I followed up in case Rachel didn't get to her, and I haven't heard back from the person.
Okay. Is that it?
Yep,
Thank
that's it.
you. Property and equipment,
Okay, we're at, we're gonna close out the two vehicles. We had them up, they've been on Craigslist on a sealed bid. We have bids on both of them, so that ends on Monday at 4 o'clock. We will take and open the bids. There's bids on each vehicle, so they should be gone. Do you have the titles for me?
Yep.
If I can get those from you, then, no, to sign off on these, who needs to sign off on these? The chairman?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
before we go today, I'll
We'll
have
go
you
over
sign
them.
these, and then when we're done with them, we're done with them.
Happy
I'll get those. The other item, I got a hold of, Jess from, MSU on the wood processor, the firewood processor. They're interested in it. He's gonna come over, we're gonna demo it for him on one day this week. We both had busy schedules this past week, we weren't able to do it. We'll demo it from him. They're pretty much, as long as it's what we told them it was, that it's in like new condition and it works efficiently. They don't have an issue. When he approached me on the price, I told him that we have approximately $20,000 into it. He said as long as it's in the condition we're talking about, he said, I'm not even gonna negotiate. He said, well,
20K.
yeah, $20,000 they're looking at paying us for it. So I guess what I'd look at this point from the board is that, and if I need to make a motion, that I'll make it a motion that if they're willing to purchase it from us for the $20,000, that I am authorized that I can make the sale to. Being that they're also MSU, they're another governmental issue, or another governmental agency, we can bypass the bid process on that, and we could sell it directly to them.
Is that right?
Yes.
Is that right?
I believe
Yes.
so.
All right.
We could check into it, but I believe you guys can.
It's $20.
The government,
It's 20,000, does that seem reasonable?
yeah. I know Nate's discussed it with them, I discussed it with them before, we
What-
bought it for that.
That's what the district's got in, I wanna say it was like 19,000 and change, but it was, you're knocking at the door at $20,000, and that's, if you can 5 years, I mean, obviously if you went to buy one new now, they're probably more, but, you know, we're not in the business to sell them new, we're, you know, you're getting 100% of your money back out of it.
And they have a grant for it, so.
Right. And you're.
They do?
Yeah. So,
Anybody want to entertain a motion?
I'll make the motion, if
I'll
someone will
support it.
second it. I make the motion that if the MSU is satisfied and want to make a deal for $20,000 on the firewood processor, that I have the authority to accept it and close the deal.
Support.
Support. Is there any more discussion?
Are you gonna split up that 5 cords as supposedly at Pioneer?
It's almost done.
Oh, it is?
We had to put the brakes on it, so he left enough for us that we can demonstrate, or, demo it for, by the time it leaves the park, Steve will have
Good.
have that front cleared where he can clean it up. It'll be all done, so it'll be done, and that'll be that. As far as the curtains go, I'm holding off on that. We'll wait and see. Those will take some investigation, and we'll have to look and see what the market is and where we can have all
Right.
this.
I did find the receipt for those.
Did you?
I did.
What, do you know what the,
Not off
Can-
the top of my head, but.
can you give me a copy of that receipt so I have it, so
I think so.
you found it but lost it?
No, I think, I'll just say, we'll talk after. How's that sound?
Okay, that sounds good. So we're good on the vehicles? Oh, yeah, okay.
We gotta move on this.
Let's
I
do this one
support
since
it.
we have almost, so any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Good luck selling that. And they'll take it before the winter.
Yeah, they'll, yeah, it's theirs to store, we won't, that won't be, no longer be our headache.
All right.
Yes, we won't
Does
have
that come with
to-
the title? So just piece of.
I don't know, there's probably no title on that, it's just,
I don't think so.
All right.
that's why, did you have a bill of sale on that? I requested a bill of sale when I sent you the email for the titles.
Yeah.
I think I saw one somewhere,
I
'cause
think it's in the packet.
it is, that's where I saw it. The stuff that's in
Yeah.
the office
Yeah,
there,
so you guys
it's
already
in there,
have it.
so, yeah, I'll have that, so I'm sure that's, I don't know if we have to draw, being that it's that amount of money, if we have to draw any kind of a,
Well, you should have something to say that.
we just draw up a bill of sale?
Yep.
Okay,
You help with
Invoice,
that?
basically an invoice, once they say they'll pay, you know.
yeah, I can,
Make it, well, you could do a district invoice.
Mhm.
yeah, we'll do a district invoice and then,
So that's taken care of.
That's great.
I think we should follow up with just take whatever the highest bid is on those cars, that's easy too.
right. So I think do we have to make a motion
Just make
as
it.
far as take it, that we make a motion that once we open them, as long as they met the minimum, we had a minimum on them, as long as they met the minimum.
Did that the
Did we
last
do that?
meeting.
Yes, I thought so.
Yeah, that was part of it.
Give me a moment.
Sure.
I don't know if we made a motion on it, I mean, I just went
We
ahead,
did.
we just went.
Brockman motion to sell vehicles as is on bid for 2 weeks with a minimum
Okay.
bid on Yaris, 3,000 Dodge Truck 500 supported by Brockman's, oh yeah, little typo there. Second by Sikorsky, motion carried. Nate Brockman will coordinate. So,
I think it
there we
was
go.
2,500 though, was it not?
On the car.
Yes, not
Yeah.
3,000.
It's 2,500, the minimum bid was 2,500 on the car.
But we can. correct
Anything
that
over
when we
that.
do the minutes.
Yeah, I mean, anything, whatever there, like I said, there's bids on both of them, so
500 on the truck.
they'll be done.
All right?
They'll be out of here, I have that, I'll have you sign.
I'll
it.
sign those for sure. Anything else on property and equipment?
Yes, before you jump off, what do you wanna do about Monday? Cause I'll meet with, McKenna Sunday night at 6 o'clock, and then basically the park is closed. You can't camp there on Sunday night.
Oh, you mean as far as, yeah, we'll retrieve at 4 o'clock,
But that's what I'm saying, you have 4 o'clock on Monday the 16th.
Right.
So basically, that gate will be shut Sunday night at 6 o'clock. So do you wanna move it to the Gladstone office?
Move what?
Well, where they dropped the bid off.
yeah.
See, they got the
See, I
bid
don't know,
being
it'll be,
dropped off on the-
I guess.
There won't be anybody there, is what I'm saying on Monday.
Well, I'll tell you what, for as much activity that's been on those, we can. I'll Sunday,
Just change the,
Yeah.
can you get back wherever you posted and change?
right,
Where the
yeah,
bids
I'll go
have
back,
to deliver.
I'll see if I can put a thing in there,
Well,
cause,
we've had 3 calls recently.
yeah, I've dealt with them,
Yesterday,
and then
Monday,
I've
so-
dealt with them on,
Tell 'em, yeah,
sending
take-
me a,
Take the bid to Gladstone.
guy's email, but we'll,
That's where they can drop it off.
we can drop it off if it comes back there, cause they won't be there yet. So I was gonna do it on Sunday, but I should have, because there is a girl there on Sunday.
Yeah, she's there till 6.
Yeah, so I didn't know that. So I gave him one day to do it, but we know, yeah. So we can switch that.
All right.
So yeah, and then as of Monday at 4 o'clock, they're done. Then I'll take possession of them. Maybe are you gonna be available Monday?
Yes.
Okay, I'll get a hold of you Monday. We'll grab the bids that are there, open them, and then we'll contact the people.
Yeah.
Because people contacted me via email, one guy gave me an email bid, and I told him that he couldn't do that. Because it specifically states a sealed bid must be either mailed or dropped off.
Yeah, I told people they could drop them off there
Yeah.
all weekend until 6 on Sunday,
Right.
otherwise it'd be Gladstone, but,
Okay, you did tell them Gladstone, good.
Well,
Well,
All right.
that's fine,
Those are-
that's perfect, then that's what we'll do. And we'll just post I'll just make a sign and post it at the gate. If you're dropping a bid off, drop it off I'll get the address. You can give me the address for the office for Monday.
Could put something on the gate too.
That's what I just got done saying.
Sorry.
okay, one last question, because it's a bid opening, then, there needs to be people there at 4 o'clock somewhere to open those bids.
That's-
So if the public wants to be there. So where are you gonna do that?
Can we do it right there at
Mhm.
the NRC office, how they opened up?
Right.
That's where we'll do it then.
Yeah, you usually don't take the sealed bids and leave, you usually take
Right.
them out,
Which-
open them up.
We'll
That
open
was the
them right
game
there.
plan.
Yes.
If we have to do it in the parking
Yeah.
lot, we'll do it right in front of
Yeah.
the.
We'll do it
District
there,
office.
so.
Okay, I'll I'll try to be there too, so.
Okay, because we're looking so we're 4 o'clock on Monday.
4 o'clock.
We'll meet at the
Sure, I got that.
4 o'clock Monday at the NRC building.
All right, anything else?
Am I not saying that right? NRC building, it's not the NRC
NRCS.
building.
Federal
NRC.
Natural Resources Conservation.
Okay,
Ready to move on?
yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, records. Been working a lot this week on records, and I have some questions that I posed to you on email.
Okay, when did you send those?
I've been sending them.
The questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, with these computers, these new computers, there was some major changes done to the computers. And my question is, and we've asked you this before, what is Diane's role with the Delta Conservation District?
Basically what that role is, she's the one who originally set up, the QuickBooks and did the transfer from QuickBooks from Rachel, in fiscal year 2011. And, then from there, she also had set up, some of the programs that we have that are running.
Does she still run them?
Nope, she hasn't been involved in the part. She set up that website too, and also that computer, because when we first took over, because she was there. And then, what she does now is if I need any assistance about online stuff, that's what she helps me with. Everything else I do. And that was always approved by, past boards. They all knew that.
I mean, Diane, when I asked you about Diane earlier,
Mhm.
you said she wasn't involved, like that, her email account on the bank statement was Diane at Delta, it was a domain, so it was deltacd.org.
Yeah, she was never on the, signature cards.
She wasn't on the signature cards.
Correct.
But her domain email was active until September 25th.
Okay, well, that was probably set up back then too, Joe.
Right, but she's been active. I'm not really sure what to do with this, but we got locked out of almost everything. Tried to transfer the ownership of our licensing, our software licensing. And the most important thing, of course, is QuickBooks.
Mm-hmm, yep,
Trying to get that back into district ownership.
right, I was there with you.
Right.
Right.
It was owned by former employee and Diane.
Well, she was the one who set it up on the
Right.
administration, correct.
So we talked with DS Tech. I guess the other question I have, the records that were on the computers that were decommissioned, there's one that was running hot or something.
Yeah, that's
two
the one,
fans.
that's the one I think you guys took out of the office.
Right, and what was that computer used for?
That basically was the district computer,
Okay, and where was all the data that's on that
on the
computer?
one right above. Remember that one was underneath when you took it out, it was down below,
Right,
then there's the one right above.
but the information that was on that laptop that was decommissioned is not on the laptop that was set up. There must be an external drive or something.
That
Who
computer.
deleted, so, I guess,
Okay.
more important, fundamental question, why was the information on that decommissioned computer completely wiped clean by DS Tech?
It should not have been.
But it was, and it was ordered by you or Diane.
Well, it wasn't ordered by Diane. I had them, what we were doing when hired Tina, we were transferring it over. So I got DS Tech to transfer it over, but that's when you guys had talked about not having it in anybody's name, like it had been in the past, right?
Well, it should be in the district's name, right?
Correct, but in the past, it was always in whoever the manager was or the admin person.
But it hasn't been in anyone else's name except Diane's
Because,
since this Rachel person.
right, because every manager that we hired through that time.
Right,
Because of the parks, was not able to handle the position, so nothing got moved over, but
Right.
that's why. So the original kept going and going, and you guys wanted it in Conservation District versus anybody's name, right? So,
Well, yeah.
originally, well, right, but
we're a
originally,
unit of government.
well,
Is that true or is that not?
all the other boards had the person who was in charge, who was the manager. And we were planning with DS Tech to move it over to Tina. That was the plan since we hired Tina in May. But then you guys said, no, we want the district, which is not an individual, it's the district, which is fine. So I went to DS Tech to have that done. And I know I sat there watching him work, and he had a very hard time with GoDaddy and Microsoft 65, you know more about this.
MS 365, that's the office.
He had a heck of a time trying to link those two. And, I mean, that computer was just a flying. And when it got all done, we thought that was done. It should have been the Delta Conservation District as the, I don't know.
It is,
admin
but
top.
my question is, on that laptop that was decommissioned, that had Conservation District records on it. What happened
And
to
it was
those
moved
records?
to that one that's sitting on top.
It's not. That computer does not have Conservation District records that was on the other computer. Who
Well, I
moved
know I
that?
got on it the other day, once it was there, it has all those things on the, desktop.
Who moved it? Who moved that data from the old laptop to the new laptop?
DS Tech,
No. Not according to them.
so it's not there.
It's been erased. Someone erased it, all of it. All of those records have been erased.
Well, we'll go over there then on Monday and try to figure out
We don't have to.
what happened.
No, I mean, it's more serious than that.
Because they were moving the stuff over because we were gonna lose that laptop,
And why? Why were we gonna lose that?
because it
laptop?
was heating up.
Yeah, but they said it was fine.
Well, they said both fans were working, but I know there was different people who worked on that, out of that computer, and they all said the same thing, that it was heating up terribly. And DS Tech was the one who told us, while you're still using it, before it can be moved, put it on an elevated stand and make sure that it is not flat.
So the email like your email, how far back does your email go?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Does it go back years?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay, let me just go through this. These are the notes from DS Tech.
Okay,
On Monday, this is August 7th, 2023, talked with Diane. She and Rory are transferring everything out of their names. All 5 PCs have personal M365 subscriptions tied to Diane's personal email.
correct, because it was set up that way.
I advise that she use the newly created generic business email and change subscriptions to that. She can then go through and switch accounts and subscriptions in Outlook to their new business account. After that, you should be able to go through and remove the email accounts you no longer wish to be in there. On the 9th, the notes are, laptop is here, Rory tried what was recommended and it did not work. It starts and gets too hot, possibly fan is not working. He is waiting to hear about this laptop for next steps. On the 10th of August, hi Rory, I called and left you a voice message, but to summarize, I took a look at the laptop and verified both fans are functioning. I updated the firmware on the laptop and adjusted some fan settings. I let it run for a while and it does not seem to warm up, but I've seen a lot worse. This laptop has a beefy graphics card in it and it creates a lot of heat. It should be good to go. I'll leave it downstairs and you can pick it up anytime. If you have further questions or Diane has any questions with the M365 and Outlook, please let me know. We can also provide M365 licensing if that's of interest. So you were using your personal account for the business of the district.
No, I wasn't using a personal account.
Oh, you were, trust me.
No, we all had emails.
Oh, I know, had emails. They've been erased, Rory.
Okay, well,
And you've been told not to erase public records more than once.
I didn't erase.
Oh, someone
public
erased them.
records. No,
Let me go back to, this is 9/7, a month later. And that stuff in August was during our second election. The day of the election, you had them moving accounts. Let me go on 9/7/2023. And I'll tell you something, if you would have responded to us on email, we could have handled this, but you know, the problem is, we're stuck. We're stuck in a public setting doing the work of the public. So this probably is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever had to do in my professional life. And it is, if I seem chapped about it and untethered here, it's because I am. On 9/7/2023, hi Rory, and this is from our the folks at DS Tech. Hi Rory, got all the software installed on your new laptop. I do see there are 2 laptops that are offline, and at least one of them has been off for quite some time. If you'd like me to remove either of those, let me know. Otherwise, the laptop is ready for you to be picked up anytime. And then on
Okay, well,
the 11th, I'm just gonna go through, this was an emergency ticket. Help set up M365 on the other 2 laptops, remove Diane everywhere. Next step, 1 more laptop another day. On 9/11, 3 laptops to set up, remove Diane and Heather from the existing laptop, verified services, then set up 2 laptops, added the email, and gave details to Rory. Next step, Rory has a few questions about the other machines and he will call me about later. And then on 9/13, notes, a few more changes to OneDrive, all set.
right, so didn't that just say they
Right.
were doing it?
Right, no.
That's what that says.
On September 25th, you erased Tina's account and you erased Diane's account. And your email backup only goes back to September. There's something missing. I took that laptop to DS Tech and they recovered thousands of files, including electronic files for Ford River Township that I hounded you for 5 months on a FOIA request before I ran for this district board. And you told me NRCS has everything. I mean, that is either lazy, incompetent, or deceptive. This is not okay. You said Diane was not involved. It appears as she's running this business.
No, she was the admin,
Yeah.
right, that came through, so she was the one who had to help to move Tina onto it, and then, then we
Right, but
found
you
out Heather was
deleted
still
accounts.
there.
They did not delete these accounts. You deleted email accounts.
Did you not just read something from DS Tech that said he was taking what was on the one and moving it to another? Or did I not hear that correctly?
Then set up 2 new laptops, added the email, and gave details to Rory. Next step, Rory has a few questions about the other machines.
No, even
Why
the-
was this an emergency ticket? Why did you have to wipe these machines clean? Chris, can you help me out here? My wife, Chris, is with me every step of the way. She used to be the director of information technology at Bay College, and she knows a heck of a lot more than both of us put together.
There is a record somewhere in there, you're probably just skipping over it right now, that does say that Rory or Diane would be deleting the accounts or documents. You were just asking DS Tech to move one thing from one machine to another.
Correct.
The machine that was tucked under the desk, which is the one you have referred to as the one
Yep.
running hot with 2 fans.
Yep.
That machine had thousands of records deleted off of it. I verified that those records that had been deleted were not on any of the other machines that you had DS Tech reinstall, your new machines that you purchased. So you just purchased a bunch of new computers and had a bunch of new stuff set up, but you didn't transfer all the data from that machine onto one of those machines. It's not there. Those records are simply not there. The email was deleted, the email for Tina Vanderlinden and for Diane Matson at deltacd.org. Those are domain accounts. Those are not personal accounts, they're domain accounts.
Yep.
Those were deleted on September 25th.
Correct.
That has nothing to do with the time frame in which DS Tech was working. So those were deleted by someone who had access to delete them, not DS Tech. And DS Tech has said they did not delete those accounts. They only deleted a personal account, which is Diane Matson, Outlook.com. So that's not true.
Well, that's what we were deleting. We were deleting back email accounts that were no longer being used. And eventually.
And let me finish.
Go ahead.
By deleting those 2 accounts, Diane Matson at deltacd.org and Tina Vanderlinden at deltacd.org, by doing that, you deleted 2 accounts that had complete ownership of all the applications and all your online resources. So when you deleted those accounts, you broke everything for transfer of ownership. You can't do that without those accounts. So we had to reactivate those accounts, restore those accounts, in order to even do the work of transferring it into a generic account, which is what the board asked to do. We want this stuff in generic accounts. We don't want this ownership of an individual person, but you had actually deleted those. It makes no sense to delete the 2 accounts that have total ownership over all of your software. That it breaks everything. And anyone who knows anything about doing IT work, so whomever is doing this work for you, I'm assuming this is probably Diane Manson at home, it breaks everything because that account no longer exists. The same with the account for logging into the computer, and you were there with me when I went to change the QuickBooks ownership so that the QuickBooks ownership could be in the district. Whose cell phone was tied to that? Diane's.
Because she was the one who set it up originally. Nothing had been moved on beyond that point. That's what we were trying to do.
So the point is, Diane Matson, that account, Diane Matson at deltacd.org, is a public record. It is absolutely critical that the information that was in that account and in those emails stays there as a public record because it's tied to everything that you did within QuickBooks. As far as licensing is concerned, as far as administration is concerned, it's tied to that account. Why would it be deleted?
I don't know, Chris, we're not IT people. All we were trying to do was move originally that over to Tina, and then Tina was let go. So that's when we were gonna remove Tina too, and just put in a generic. And I had DS Tech helping on some things, and probably, I don't know, I'm not an IT person.
Okay,
But they weren't deleted on purpose.
okay.
So how come when I requested for River Township stabilization, I never received any records whatsoever?
I sent you some
Oh,
things that I
man, you
had
sent me something you took and presented to, Fort River
for
Township.
River Township.
You told me all those records are gone, you told me 3 or 4 times. I mean, I understand you might not be computer savvy, but you were told not to destroy public records. That's a
And
crime.
as far as I know, I didn't do.
Then
destroy
where
public
are
records.
they? We still don't have access to your email. We changed that password, we still are locked out of that account.
Why would you be? Because you had the passwords and it's the same email I've had for a
Yeah,
long
but
time.
we don't have access to your email.
I thought you had access to all that.
No.
Well
No, we
then,
don't.
then I'm gonna have to, if we can, fix this. This is what I've been trying to do.
There's no fixing it. There's no fixing this. I mean, this is just a fundamental, I don't even know what to do with it. I mean,
Well, I know when we sat there on the QuickBooks thing, okay? Christine obviously knew what she was doing. But, I watched too, when she asked you and Mike questions, you guys were about the same as me. I know you were on the phone.
No.
And that's why
But you're the
asking
one who's
her.
supposed to be managing QuickBooks for your organization. You're the one who says that you
And
use
we do
it.
And we do have the QuickBooks. I can write the checks, I can do all the stuff, but the IT part.
It's not even worth
I'm
it.
not an IT
All right.
It's not even worth it.
person.
Someone else is gonna have to deal with this. I mean, there's no motion on it. I just,
Well, then, if Christine knows what she's
Thousands.
doing, can I get
Thousands.
with her and can I get
no, man,
with
that
DS
stuff's,
Tech and
that
get it
stuff's
fixed up?
gone. It's gone. Those records are deleted, right? Can they be recovered?
So there are some records that were recoverable, but what happens when you delete entire directory structures and then you continue to use the laptop is the place in which that data resided on the hard drive to begin with starts to get overwritten. And so those files that were deleted, it gets harder and harder to recover them over time. So that's what we've run into here. DS Tech has been able to recover some of them, but we would need to send the drive off to a specialist, a company that's what they specialize in, is recovering data. But I think at this point, we will just take the list of files that were deleted and figure out whether or not that, what we need to move forward on with that. I think you guys are gonna have to, it's thousands of documents, thousands of pictures, accounts.
Yeah, cause a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff, like I said, as far as I knew, was removed from this one and put on the one sitting right on the top.
Who did that? Who did that work?
I actually thought it was DS Tech moving it over, and they say they didn't, right?
No, they didn't.
I mean, that's what I went there for.
Rory, there's a specific, there's something in the records there that actually says that you would be doing that. So, I mean, this is not, I don't think you need to have any more
I
conversation
just
about it,
like-
because it's just not, it's not gonna work, so.
All right.
Well, we should be able to get together Monday and try to solve this problem, right? I mean, I didn't delete nothing on purpose. I'm not an IT person, Christine is. It would be very nice, I don't know if you can help or you can't, but we'll see what we can do.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, the only thing I would ask is, did you make a copy of any of the machines, like on an external drive, dump that data off so that you had a backup of it? Did you do any of that? Or do you know if you did any of that?
I mean, you've said you've done it, but maybe,
Like, you guys are so far over my head right now.
Okay.
That's why when.
Okay.
fair enough.
Never
I
mind.
got a question.
Yeah.
Are any of these records potentially records of projects that were done?
Yes, there were entire project folders that were deleted.
Bills that were paid?
Financial data was not a big part of it, but more
Emails,
projects.
were there interchanges, emails with our district and these clients? That's gone?
Who knows? I don't know. Do you know?
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Try and lighten your load, do you wanna send that hard drive off to a forensic recovery?
I would advise that.
I would move that we do that.
I'd second that,
You got a second? Is there any more discussion?
because I mean, you're talking public records here that are gone.
Oh, yeah,
We should do everything within our power to recover them.
To recover them,
Not between you two, between law enforcement or investigators.
What?
I mean, get law enforcement or investigators involved and try not to.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, put it down, I understand.
That's why we contacted DS Tech.
All right. I mean, that could be,
So, let me just back up a second. So if we, just for facilitating this, if indeed we pass the motion to, send that drive off for recovery, that shouldn't limit where we would send it, such as to a forensic private account business or to, law enforcement. So we wouldn't have to come back and re-motion.
did you make the motion
I did,
originally?
I made the motion. I make the motion that we send that hard drive off.
Glenn, I think
Nate
Glenn and
supported
Nate
it.
supported it.
I supported
Would you
it.
support it amended that way?
What's the,
He's basically, it's giving us options. Either we can do it forensic, private, or law enforcement, doesn't matter. We will maintain that.
which would be
computer.
this is all new ground to me, which would be the step, the most
Well, that's what I'm trying to.
advantageous
Probably
step?
in public.
I don't know, public record destruction is, there's criminal code for that. We've already been
So that
down this
would be
road.
law enforcement.
Right,
So-
that would be my recommendation, is
but
that
what
you
it-
contact law enforcement.
My motion made is to have the option of sending it to either without having to come back to the board and having another motion.
It covers us.
And it's helpful in case law enforcement makes a suggestion
Right.
otherwise, at least you have that
You know, we
option.
don't wanna be,
That's correct.
I have a
Right.
motion and a second. Do we still have a second?
Yes.
Is Is there any more discussion on this or questions?
What is the motion? Cause it seemed to change.
The motion from Mike, and I can repeat it, tell me if it's right, Mike, is to retain that computer and send it off for forensic investigation, either privately or through law enforcement.
Correct. Yes, that's it.
So we don't have to come back to the board for this, and you guys are aware, so. Is there any more discussion on that? Can we roll call, please, on that?
Yep, Joe,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
Nate.
Yes.
Thank you. We have access to the website. That's good news. The accounting software has been transferred into, ownership of the district with me as the representative. At least into it. I don't know if we're into QuickBooks yet. No, we still don't have access to QuickBooks.
What's the holdup there?
The holdup was just to have the Intuit, which is the umbrella company that owns QuickBooks, to have that account transferred first. And because of the deletion of those accounts, we had to actually send in documentation that gave Joe Kaplan authority to do that. So then documentation had to be sent to Intuit, Intuit had to review that, and then they finally approved it, I think, yesterday.
So that should be on the fast track to
Yeah.
happening soon. Thank you.
Phone. Again, there's like a PIN firewall to even get information about the ownership of that phone. Do you have that PIN or?
Yes.
Okay, we can talk at the,
Yeah, and I
after the
was,
meeting.
remember when we met before, you said, don't send it to me, call me.
Perfect.
So, also on that, this would probably be a good time to talk about that phone if it's possible.
Of course.
Okay, when you and Mike were in the office, you saw after all those years, you know, it hit a rock and a crater. When you put it up, there's nothing there. So I asked you what I should do. Should I just go get a new one and put it on, or should I try to get it repaired? And you said, try the repair first. So I went down to Jesse at the end of Ludington Street, and, well, first I actually went to Verizon and seeing if they could, I guess there's a SIM card in here?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know, but anyway, they pulled the SIM card out, put it into another phone that they had, one like this, and they could not get it to work. So then I said, can I have the old one back, put the SIM card back in, and I brought it down to Jesse. He pulled it out, and he got it to work, like 2 days later.
Right.
He said it was a challenge for him, and that's why he did it, so. So then he said, I have a smartphone that I can sell you for $400, and it's working in there. And I said, well, in the woods, you know, this is the best thing for me, you guys know that. So I said, I really don't want another smartphone. So I went back to DS Tech, I went back to Verizon. And I said, and I know some people who work there, obviously, at the main office. So I talked to John and Andrea, and I said, can you get us, I've only got a month and a half, can you guys, and I said, I'm guessing anybody coming in that you hire as a manager is not doing this. I could be wrong, but they might. I said, can you get us a cheaper phone? Do you have used phones? Do you have anything like that just to keep this cost down? Well, this is a brand new phone, but it was a demo on it. Okay,
Right.
so, the question I have for you guys is, I paid for it. So I do have the bill with the receipt,
What did it cost?
$200. A normal one like this is $350.
Yeah, just submit it.
I know, but what I'd like to do is this, that's why I wanted to bring it right here, right in front of me. I've already paid for the phone, and of course, the 280-6947's hooked to it, right?
Yeah.
Phone number, okay. I have to put all the contacts back in, because that just, the SIM card doesn't do that, just covers. So basically, I have the phone, it rings, people are calling now again, because there was that 2-week delay. What I'd like to do in 2 months, when I leave, I would like to just keep this phone for myself as a flip phone, put a new phone number on it, and have you guys then just, you know, keep the old one or totally cut it out or whatever. So could we do that, or do you wanna buy?
I'd rather just cross that bridge when we get to it,
Okay,
unless someone feels differently.
okay, well, okay, then I paid for it, I'm not gonna submit the bill, and I'm gonna keep using it, but you guys are paying the monthly payment for the phone.
Clear? Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to, not for the phone,
Was the original phone a district phone?
yes.
Then I would, there's no question here,
No.
the district, submit the bill, he'll pay it,
Keep it
and
as
it's
district.
still a
That's right.
district phone.
And if you wanna buy it back at the end
At
and
the
that
end,
works out,
then
we can
that'll
talk
be a
about that.
negotiation on the end, but yeah, it's a
I wanted to
district
know
phone
how
to
you
begin
want
with.
to do
Let's just do it,
Yeah.
submit it,
It's a
and
district-
keep the old phone.
Yeah. It was a district phone to begin with.
Yeah, the old phone sitting at the office underneath.
Phones go to hell, you need a phone to operate,
Got it.
the district
Operate.
will pay for it.
All right, no
And
problem
then
then.
we'll, then at the end of
Okay.
separation, then you can cross that bridge then.
All right, just got a few more things here. Attorney record request. Terry Burkhart and his firm resigned on September 1st. I've been in contact with Terry, and he's going to copy all records for the district. So we will have those. I assume you have those records too, but maybe they're in boxes, I don't know.
Yep, they would all be in all the boxes that you see that are marked. I don't know when we started working with Terry, but
He said decades. Years, decades, it doesn't
I
matter.
don't think
but-
it's decades, or like
but
20
he's-
years.
He's gonna give us, he's
Okay.
gonna give us the records.
yeah, however long it was.
We have a YouTube channel, and, I guess we need to work out the bugs to be able to live stream.
Yeah, we'll
So the
upload,
public doesn't have
yeah,
to. I mean,
well-
you're free to live stream.
Yeah.
Or do whatever you want, record, doesn't matter,
And it'll
but
be
we are
added-
gonna try to do it
add it to the
officially.
website, yeah.
Cool. In this facility, right?
Yeah.
Perfect, thanks. Last thing is Facebook.
Don't look at me.
Glenn,
I thought we should try to set up a Facebook site, because it's just a broader way to reach people for this potential position, for this district manager position. Everyone seems to be using Facebook, and we could tie it right into that. It's just a thought.
And I had volunteered to help Glenn with that, and the only thing that I would have to ask ahead of doing that work is whose name is it going to be in, and I would suggest maybe the secretary of the
Okay.
board would be the person who would oversee that.
It's gonna be done as the name of the,
Correct, it's just
As
behind the
secretary.
scenes, there's someone tied to it,
right,
yeah.
On Indeed, there are in the state of Michigan, district manager positions open on Indeed.
okay.
sound good? I don't know, do we need a motion for Facebook?
Are you gonna spend money, or are you gonna, I don't know what it entails.
Probably there's gonna have to be,
It doesn't cost anything,
There's no,
Yeah.
there's no.
just to,
And the staff.
just to note that we're doing
Did
it.
you, did you float it by the staff, or, I think you said that you had talked to some of the staff and they were excited to have the social media outlet for the work that they're doing.
I didn't talk to the staff about
Maybe it was
that, but they
something.
certainly are using it.
Okay.
Yeah, that has more ramifications than the job posting, that has,
I thought so.
for them also, that's a super huge media. Just to be transparent too, we have a Craigslisting through the Conservation District, which is in my name, cause same thing, you had to have somebody behind it, but that didn't cost anything except I had to pay $5 because vehicle sales are the only thing they charge for. So that's why they're both on one listing.
Thank you, thank you
Well,
very much.
I guess would it hurt to make a motion that Christine is gonna help set up a Facebook page with Glenn? And it's there,
Does anyone wanna make that motion?
up to you guys.
Glenn?
Do we need a motion for that?
Not really, but if you want
I don't
to.
think so.
Okay.
No, let's just do
I
it.
think just a note in the minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. But that's it for me for records. Is anyone else? Glenn? Yeah, I think that's it. Finance.
Oh, yeah, okay. Finance, I do have a couple of bills here and a check. Rory and I are typically supposed to meet monthly before our monthly meeting to go over, bills to be paid, and then at the meeting, we can announce we're gonna pay all bills. This being a out of sequence monthly meeting, we haven't had that opportunity to get together, but we will. So I would recommend that we, sorry, my mind is going 100 ways. That we establish our finances, and I'm not sure how you did it in the past, Rory, but bills are paid once a month. We can meet
Unless
twice.
unless they're time sensitive.
We can meet twice a month, because payroll is, I believe, twice a month for staff. So we can meet twice a month, but we're only gonna pay bills once a month, staff twice a month.
If you do that, then you're gonna have delinquent bills. If you guys remember when Rachel was here, and if you look up, district law, and, I think you guys are all on, you guys getting stuff from like John Switzer and things now, from MDA?
No.
You head over, okay.
No.
I'll make sure that happens, and you should get everything that comes out. I thought for sure the boards were.
If there's a ruling on that, I can amend anything.
And what it is that the board approves the bills, except for time-sensitive bills, and then that goes back to the treasurer.
Right.
And payroll, and if you wanna do it once a month, so you have these time-sensitive bills and you have payroll.
What would be an example of a time-sensitive bill?
I brought the bills, and I see Joe did put it on A, right, on here somewhere?
It did, yep,
Okay.
under new business.
Well, you're gonna see a ton of them from Upco. And you're gonna
Oh,
see some from Verizon that are late, you're gonna see some from, Spectrum that are late, but they're really not late. But that's how they come.
Yes.
And so once the parks leaves, you'll never have this problem again.
I was just gonna make that observation, yes.
So really, we have one more month till the park bills are paid and done. And I did meet with Ashley and Bob Peterson, I think it was yesterday morning, to figure out how Ashley would like to handle the transition. In other words, what now could we move? Now would be the ideal time to move all the Upco bills, which are only part, because we pay nothing over at the other one, to the county. And the reason is too, because the county, with the new electric that's going into Rustic, kinda got that solved yesterday too, is the district cannot sign that agreement with Upco, just like they couldn't in the past, because the district doesn't own the parks.
Right.
So while they're doing that, we could transfer, the whole thing, and then the county just, cause they're gonna have to do it anyway, but now would be the ideal time. So I can work with Mike a little bit on that, sort of got a game plan of what could be transferred now, what would go till December 31st, and try to get that just in a nice neat package and start moving it towards the county, the bills, because again, that's why I'm glad you didn't put any treasurer's reports here, because remember, I know the county, actually said that they got 60 days, but I think we have, and I gotta check with that, I think we have till the first treasurer's report is approved after October 1, we cannot move things back to September 30th, even if they were done before September 30th, you know what I'm saying? So, this is why I wanna sit with Mike, and whoever else.
Who are these accounts, what name are these accounts in as of now?
Conservation
They're-
District.
They're in the
because
district?
We're running it,
Because
correct,
of that, yeah.
yeah, so,
I mean, this all sounds reasonable, when you said that you meet with Ashley and Bob Peterson, because he's the parks guy.
parks guy,
Right,
yeah.
how come none of us are involved with that?
all I wanted to know there was what Ashley wanted to do.
Right.
As far as that, and then we would sit down
Right.
and figure out how to move it.
But I think, as far as these bills, like, I personally wanna see them beforehand, if I'm
Right.
gonna put my name to them, I don't wanna look at them at the meeting, cause we got more I mean, just paying your bills is important, but I think all of us should have eyes on this stuff.
Correct, and that's why those emails went back and forth, and I
Right.
gave you guys what I thought, but that's why I think then this board needs to set how you wanna do it, and I keep asking for, you know, we would do that. I think that's what Mike's getting at now.
That was what I was alluding to, yes.
I'm happy to take a shot at it. Do you wanna do it?
Have at it, Joe.
I'd just say,
Is this a motion?
well, it's gonna be motion, yeah.
Right.
I move that bills that are gonna be paid on a meeting have to be submitted to all board members with the invoices 4 days ahead of time.
Okay.
We
What
have a motion on,
happens?
no, we have a motion. Does anybody wanna second that?
Would you repeat it, please?
I said that all bills that are gonna be paid at a board meeting have to be, or that'll be signed off by the two fiduciaries, cause it takes two signatures, two board members, will be submitted to all board members 3 days,
You said 4.
4 days, 3 days, I don't care the length of time. Do you have a preference on the length of time?
No, totally whatever.
All right, 4 days before they're paid, that everyone has an opportunity to look at them and ask questions. No discussion about them, but you can ask questions.
I'll support that.
I'll second that.
No.
Well, I made it, he supported
You
it.
just thirded
Is there
it.
any more discussion?
No.
And I look forward to your.
I just have a question, how will we, I mean, obviously, we're gonna receive them in an email, are we just gonna receive a rundown?
Yeah, pretty much like a treasurer's report, but we get it. you know,
Okay,
4
you're
days
not gonna have
before.
an actual copy of the bill, eh?
No, but if you wanna say, hey, I wanna see this invoice, or what is this charge for? I mean, you can ask those questions.
Only for bills that are gonna be requested, paid at the board meeting. So-
Yeah, we're gonna approve some bills today.
Okay, that's fine.
That's why I wanna sit down with the treasurer. In the past, any bill, regardless of when it was written, I sat down with the treasurer, so the treasurer saw that bill.
I understand, but the problem with the treasurer is you told me was gone December 1st through April 1st, so I've seen bills where you're the signature, and the chair's the signature, I mean, it's kinda, there's some rotation.
There was always 3 people on that,
Right,
just like
but-
you have 3 now.
But when we changed the signatories, there was like 5 people still authorized to sign checks,
And that's why we
including
need
yourself.
those cards done.
Yeah, so now we have 3 with a preference. So, but I think everyone should know what we're spending money in and how. And that's all, it's just provided to the board.
Why isn't that alleviated if they have their meeting before we have the board meeting?
Because often it's like the day before. And it's one person. I mean, I want time to go through this. Personally, I want to be able to ask questions. I like to know how money's spent.
So we motion and supported and.
I mean, is there any downside to that?
Can we add to the motion? Otherwise, another motion.
Well, you
We're
can just
just
describe, if you
Yeah.
want to participate in the discussion, I'm happy to hear what you have
Well,
to
let
say.
me tell you how the road commission used to do it.
Right.
When I was on there. Whoever wanted to see bills showed up 15 minutes before the meeting.
Okay.
Or a half an hour, I don't know if that's good or bad, okay, then went through them, but, then they were approved. But this is, so the motion was, all bills will be paid, all bills that will be paid at the board meeting must be submitted 4 days before the board meeting. basically,
all
before
board
they're paid.
members.
To all board members, okay, I'll add that. Okay, what about the ones that are time sensitive?
And these are the ones you want sort of before board.
Right, so what we could do, because you'll have time, then what I could get with Mike, and then we could still forward them to you within 2 days.
I have a question
Yeah.
on that. How much more sensitive does a bill get than 4 days? I mean, is it like payment on
No, but you're
demand?
talking about once a month at the board meeting.
But that's what you do now, that's what we've always done.
No, before, in what John has sent out, what districts can do.
I'm talking about this district. I've been coming to meetings for over a year, and it's always a list of bills, and the board approves the paying
But
bills.
the treasurer, and sometimes the chairman on a sensitive bill would approve it, that bill would be written, sent in, okay? But then it has to be brought, that's why I'm saying there should be either 2 more motions or added to this, and what it should say, so we can do this, or who's ever gonna do it in the future, time-sensitive bills will be run through the treasurer and paid. And he would have the authorization that you guys would give him to pay that bill. Or it sounds to me like, Joe, you would still like to see those. So if you have time sensitive, how about we do another 4 days before that bill, but we're not carrying it to the meeting is what I'm trying to get at.
No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, I'd be okay if well, the meetings are once a month, and if you need something 2 weeks after that, nothing should be so pressing that needs to be paid within 2 weeks.
Well, here's one right here, Spectrum, okay? And we did that before. Past due, $499.33, so the total bill is $629. So the $499 has, 33 has been paid. Okay? And so,
Why is it overdue, though?
Yeah, it only comes out once a month, right?
because what they do is they fire these things and they want them back. That's why I recommended you guys, when you get a new manager, direct payment, correct?
Yeah, we'll look at that, but I think we all need to see bills, when you need them paid, it should be bi-monthly, 4 days before they're paid, everyone gets to see it.
Okay.
That's what I'll amend my motion for.
So it's bi-monthly.
I would try to bring them all to the board meeting so we can discuss about 4 days before they're paid.
I'm getting.
Where's the late payment here? What are we paying for late payment? That's ridiculous. We're paying a late payment here?
No, we're not, because
Okay.
they won't. When you guys see these bills, you'll understand. And a real good one is the electric bill. That's why it'd be great to get it over to the county where they can just directly pay. So I called them the other day, cause they said we were $900 late. But we don't have to worry about it till October 25th. I said, well, if there's a late payment there, or a bill overdue, excuse me, not a late payment, a bill overdue, but we don't have to go till October 25th, why do we care? Because we were gonna have a meeting on the 25th, right? And then this one came up. So she said, well, this is how OPCO works, okay? We have I don't even know what the hell they call it. We have an overriding this umbrella for OPCO. Underneath it are 9 accounts. And underneath those 9 accounts are different bills coming off of meters. Some have 2, some are by themselves, some are 3. And the reason we set that up many years ago, and it's still not working, we wanted one bill, right? They could say how much is coming off this meter and all those. We wanted one bill once a month that you paid. What she's telling me is that when they go to reach out now, and that worked great when the meter man came around. And this just started in Pioneer where they read the meters.
No, I got it, DJ, what would solve this? 5 days? I mean, I want all board members, my motion is for all board members to be able to view bills 4 days before they're paid. And we'll do that option twice a month, once 4 days before a scheduled board meeting, and then some time interval between that, and it's up to you. If you need to bring us bills, give yourself 4 days.
Okay, and even if they're gonna be, in other words, if we get one in the mail and it says it's due 2 days, you still want me to do
Okay,
it twice?
I've never gotten a bill that's due in 2 days.
Where does that happen?
It does here.
Yeah, well, then
I'm
just,
telling you, with OPCO and them, that's what's
yeah,
happening.
just, I'm not buying it.
Those are
I've
time
never
sensitive.
been paying
That's
electricity
a
for
mine,
like 30 years, that just sounds ridiculous.
All I'm trying to do, I know it comes, so I'm guessing
OPCO
the
doesn't
motion
give you a
says
bill
that-
that's due in 2 days.
Well, you guys are gonna find out.
Well, good,
But-
we'll find out, and I'd love to be proven wrong.
But, so the motion though,
Yeah.
is what I'm understanding, is basically 4 days,
Before a board meeting.
twice a month.
Before a board meeting,
Is it just a board meeting again?
I'm amending it.
That's what I'm
Board
trying to
meeting
get. So I'll do exactly what you want.
or one interval, like a 2-week interval. So no more than, we don't pay bills more than twice a month. That's it.
So what is the motion?
I just told you, 4 days before a board meeting, or
Yeah.
4 days before bills are paid in the interval between a board meeting.
4 days before board meeting.
Yeah?
That would answer your question for your time sensitive, basically, what's it is.
With the preference being, we pay bills at our board meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
So the 4 days before a bill is, okay. I'm
4
confused on
days
that.
before a board meeting,
Got that,
bills are provided to every board member.
Correct.
Via email.
correct.
In the interval between board meetings, for time-sensitive bills, 4 days before they're paid, they have to be, before they're signed by board members, they have to go back to the board.
Okay, so it's not twice a month, it's just 4 days before.
Yeah, but it's only, you only can pay bills twice a month. 4 days, we need them 4 days, on the day of the board meeting, or the time interval between two board meetings, 4 days before, whenever you want them paid. If you want them paid on the
Every
15th,
2
make it
weeks.
by the 12th. If you want on the 18th, back
That
it
would
off
be
forward.
easier
Yeah,
to.
well,
That's
that's
what I'm
easier to
trying to-
understand, yeah. I think you got them confused there.
Well, you're making it
It's
sound
every
like
2
if this
weeks.
board meeting's the 31st and this one was the 20th,
Well, no, I mean-
I divide it and go halfway,
That's what I would say, yeah.
okay? My mic is saying every 2 weeks.
Well, effectively, we're having a board meeting every 4 weeks. Roughly.
Rough.
So each 2 weeks, we should be notified what we're gonna be paying.
If you need to pay it. If you can't carry it over to the next board meeting, then give yourself 4 days and say, hey, I got some time-sensitive stuff. Send it to everyone, and then the two people that need to sign off. It's not just the treasurer. Treasurer is one signatory. You need 2 board members to sign off
I
on it.
don't have a problem with that.
Well, you.
I'm just
I
trying to get
appreciate it.
exactly what it is. Believe it or not, I'm still confused on it. I don't know why. 4 days before the board meetings, I got.
That they have to be
piece of
presented
cake.
to all board members.
All board members get.
If it's time-sensitive material,
Yeah.
it's 4 days before payment.
Okay. So it has
But then the
nothing
board's
to-
not approving the bills, and I thought we did that once a month.
But it has nothing to do with, no, but now you will be, right, because it's gonna come to you. Well, yeah, so who's actually approving that one then? That's a good example.
That's why we need board,
Right, yeah.
I mean, you've been doing board meetings once a month forever, so I don't understand how this
Correct.
is all of a sudden a huge issue.
It never has been, because what the districts are allowed to do is they're allowed to pay that time-sensitive bill. And before it was just the treasurer, now I'm getting, you want it sent to all 5 board members, no problem. 4 days before, then me and Mike would sit down, because then everybody
4
would
days
see it,
before,
right?
you need to provide it to everyone. And then 4 days later, you can get the signatures, or sit down with Mike, and Mike.
Right,
can
sit
make
down
the
with Mike and then move it forward.
Right.
Sure.
So, that's how it's been done, but at the board
It
meeting,
hasn't been
no.
done that way.
No, at the board meeting then, it's in the list that it's already been
Oh,
done.
so they've already been paid, I
Correct,
see.
that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm just trying to, are we doing it what we're allowed to do, or what do you guys want, and that's how I'll do it.
Well, I definitely wanna see all bills
Yep,
4 days
4
before
days
the bill.
before.
And if a bill has to be paid before that time, you need to have 4 days.
Okay.
So do it some interval between board meetings,
Okay,
package them all up, send them out to the whole board, and then sit down with Mike and do what you need to do, and I guess we'll sign off on them, and then we'll approve them at the next board meeting. I've never seen this, we haven't done this yet.
no, you guys
It's
haven't, but
confusing, right?
the other boards have, so
Oh.
if I'm getting, here's the motion, 4 days before the board meeting, all bills will be sent to invoices, whatever we get, will be sent to the entire board for their approval. Then I'm taking it at the board meeting, you'll either say you looked at them or you didn't, when we have a board meeting, so there's no problem. The time-sensitive ones will follow the same type of logic, and they'll come 4 days before, but after 4 days or 5 days, whatever it is, myself and Mike will meet, and then he will authorize for me to pay, and then get the double signatures he needs.
Right, and if someone has an issue, we'll just table it.
Perfect. So Joe, you made the motion, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I supported it.
Mike second. You want a roll call, or you just
Well,
want?
no, I want more discussion so
Oh.
that we understand what we're doing and if there's any limitation here on doing it this way.
Or we can pay them once a month, but if something's late, then I guess it's late.
Yeah, with Nate, I'm struggling at, I understand Spectrum because I paid the same bill. They want it the next day, basically. But,
I know.
And you're usually paying a month ahead.
but it's, yeah, you're paying in advance, but, do we need to just adjust the payment dates?
I don't know why we have to do other than monthly.
We're doing
Really, because you're
handsprings here.
billed monthly on the bills. You know, I realize some might come at the beginning of the month, some might come at the end of the month, but usually when you actually receive the bill, you have almost a 3-week period to the due date. I think we need to get on some type of a schedule
You wanna go- yeah.
on that we pay monthly.
Okay.
And we're not paying,
You think it's, we're still in discussion. Is it possible for you, Rory, to reach out to our suppliers and get them on a payment date that's conducive to our business?
So I'm gonna use UPCO as an example, we're supposed to get that. So here's, we received this on a different date, we received this about 2 or 3 days later, and then this
basically,
one,
these are just different meters, right?
their accounts and meters are under.
Right, yeah, they're different meters.
You can see now why I wanted to turn it over to the council.
Yeah,
We're only dealing with another
And we're only
month.
gonna be dealing with this for
Yeah.
one more month and we're
Right.
done, so why are we wasting?
Do you wanna go 4 days before the board meeting?
Yeah.
They have to be sent to all board members.
Good enough.
That's my motion. Who wants to jump on that second? Is there any more discussion?
You've amended you've amended your,
Back to where we began.
So there's no time sensitive?
No.
Just
No
four
such thing as
days.
time sentence.
Okay.
4 days before a board meeting. If you need something before that, that's super critical, then, hey, we're getting good at special meetings.
Okay. Can you add one thing to that motion? Okay, but you're gonna see why. We have these, so could you add in there, except that you will look at these bills today, so we
Oh,
can.
well, yeah, we're here. so-
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah. So we're gonna keep the motion the way it is.
okay, just 4, and do these separate.
4 days.
4 days to all board members, and then that gives us plenty of time to review the bills before we pay them on our day of the board meeting.
It's confusing.
Is there any more discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
While you're doing that, though, payroll. Payroll is. every
Payroll
2
twice
weeks.
a month, isn't it?
How do you wanna do that?
Well, twice a month we'll meet.
Not twice a month, it's every 2 weeks, it's 26 days.
Well, that's
26
effectively
days.
what I'm saying, yes. Every 2 weeks.
I would do. And the way we are, as soon as the seasonals are gone, everybody gets the same thing, right?
They're on the same pay schedule.
Same pay schedule.
Yeah.
So is that something then, I meet with the treasurer, say we're gonna pay the employees? Or do you guys wanna know what they're getting paid? You can't give it ahead of time because payroll
No,
goes
it
to
just-
Saturday.
Just make payroll.
Just
Mine.
make payroll,
Make it.
make payroll, you want.
Okay.
And if the 2 signatories have an issue, they'll bring it to the board.
Okay, so what I'd like to do then is get a motion, so I know exactly what we're doing, that we're gonna, 26 pays, we're gonna make payroll bi-weekly, and I will get with I still wanna get with the treasurer before that.
That's how we do it now, right?
Yes,
All right, we're gonna continue doing it that
Just
way.
stay with it, don't need a motion.
okay, all right.
Still on finance. You wanna talk about Schneider Large Hopla?
Yeah, this past week, Joe, Christine and I met with, Schneider Larson Hopla, with Dave,
Brett Showers, your partner.
senior partner, and discussed having a forensic audit
No,
done.
just accountant.
Well,
These are the two.
as an accountant, but it would include everything that we're doing. We haven't, yet, I don't know that we've gotten a quote on their rates, as it were, but I don't think that was available, was it?
No, I mean, they're gonna look at it, and they're looking at our audit, and they're gonna help us figure out how we need to do our account.
Oh, we need to put things in order.
So he said it'd be like hourly, probably hourly to begin with, and I don't have a quote, but
Right. Can't quote it because it could be
You don't know.
always that, yes.
So this is what we're looking at doing is we are looking at having to do, bookkeeping until
our
we,
accounting.
our accounting.
Currently, we have,
Right.
if I get this right, we have an accountant, which used to be Ray Payment, then it went to
No, that's the auditor.
oh, that was the auditor.
Yeah, there was no,
Roy's the accountant.
yeah.
Oh,
So we're looking to have somebody, so there's a level of getting the work done when we have changes in board, we have changes in managers, we have
Continuity.
changes in.
It's separation of duties.
They're gonna give us a proposal. Is
I don't
that
know
you're
what they're
telling
gonna
me?
do,
we'll find out,
because we're a little in the dark.
Okay.
yeah.
But they're gonna look, I mean, we
But-
gave them their profit and loss, I mean, they're gonna set up and, you know, they do this kind of work
Yeah.
routinely.
So we approached them to see if they would do this. Answer to that was yes. The cost part is unknown. And we will reconvene and come up with a better plan.
And this is.
Yeah, unless you just wanna
definitely-
say, we're gonna move ahead with moving our stuff to an accounting
I-
firm, and
I-
just choose it, cause we're
Which
running
is-
we're running out of time. for
We're right, I
this.
think we need to have,
Which is where we're
a little
going
bit of
with this.
stability there.
So
But we need to.
The motion is that we hire Snyder Larson Hopla to do our accounting.
Do you wanna add a limit, what we'd spend on that?
How much is in the bank?
Right. Sky's the limit. Hopefully they're not listening.
Sorry.
No, I understand they're gonna take a look at it.
And
tell-
provide us a proposal.
Yeah,
They're probably
yes,
gonna have to do something on it.
Exactly, well, yes,
But in order for us to do this, we need to at least
prove them to do this.
approve.
Right, cause what they're gonna have to do is the upfront charge is gonna be more than what a maintenance charge is gonna
That would
be.
be correct.
Once they get all the problems worked out and they get it smoothed out, and without the park system, just the district, it will be, it should be
Infinitely
easy
easier.
peasy.
Yeah, and they're gonna identify issues. I mean, the reality with an audit, it's every 2 years. Auditors, our audit reports say you should separate duties. The person writing the checks, creating the accounts, paying the people, signing the checks, shouldn't be involved. There should be separation there. So,
And that's our attempt. to
yeah,
do
so if
that.
we hire an accounting firm to do this, you know, they're CPAs, so they do it, and, you know, we've met our fiduciary and legal responsibilities to our finances. It's-
Confusion for the note taker, because what I heard, just in discussion, Mike, motion to hire, three, to basically do the accounting for the district.
Yes.
And then I hear Glenn, and I've heard the talk, right now, you're actually hiring them to come back with a proposal and to look at stuff. Yes,
No,
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 or
it's
what?
still-
That was just conversation.
Conversation.
Okay, well, that's why it's hard to take
Yeah, I
notes
understand.
sometimes.
Do we have a second on that? I'm sorry, I'm not running this.
I'll second this,
Okay.
yeah.
But you wanna put any limitations on it, or do we just wanna go forward?
I'm not sure how we would limit it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where you'd put it, because like I said, the upfront is gonna be more than the maintenance.
I mean, yeah.
It
Yeah,
is
but
what
they're
it
going
is,
to
we need to
tell-
get it,
Yeah, they're gonna tell us what we
They're
need to
gonna
do
tell us
for
what we
accounting.
need to do.
Everything.
That's what I wanna know.
Right.
That's
Okay.
right.
Is there any more discussion?
Is some of this stuff in their wheelhouse then? Completely?
All of it.
all of it. is,
Okay, I'm not familiar.
Oh, yeah, it's a
Oh,
huge
yeah.
firm.
Okay, all right,
They did our whole company.
They do nonprofits, they do everything.
all right.
So I'd like to go back to this again for a
Yeah.
second. I'm taking a minute. So you're hiring them to tell you what to do, or you're actually hiring them?
The
to-
board is authorizing to move forward with hiring that firm to our account.
Okay, that's all in the motion,
Right.
and the other stuff is just however it's gonna
It's
be.
just
Discussion.
Okay,
Is there any more discussion on that?
No,
No,
All right, let's roll call that, please.
Joe,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Glenn,
yes.
Nate.
Yes.
Thank you. And then the last thing is QuickBooks. We're still gonna work to get a hold of that, and ultimately, once we get access, full access to our QuickBooks, that will be shared with Schneider, Larch, and Hopla.
Correct.
So then they will be doing all our posting and all our,
That wasn't a motion or anything.
No, I know.
Can you,
Yeah, that's-
can you
yeah, that's
briefly
it.
articulate where we're at with that, because I keep seeing it in the emails, asking for the QuickBooks, we just don't have access to it, right?
I think we're very close.
Very, okay.
Chris, can I depend on you for
Closer
that?
away.
I'm sorry.
What do we need to do to get access to QuickBooks and be able to share that with the accounting firm?
Just need to go out to the office and obtain the file that can be shared.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah, we
create,
need to find-
we created those separation of accounts, so Rory Matson would have his own account, Mike Sigorsky would have his account, and they would only be able to do certain functions, so you don't log in, multiple people aren't logging into QuickBooks with the same account. They log in with their own individual accounts. The audit trail for that individual user is specific to that user, and we couldn't accomplish that before because of the Diane Matson, Tina Vanderlinden email fiasco that was created. So that has now been corrected through Intuit, and now we just need to go out to the district computer again and reissue the work that was done originally to make that happen.
And you're willing to continue to work with us on that?
I'll help you to get the stuff set up, of course.
So if I'm there,
Yeah.
you can do it.
Roger that.
So that can be done then,
Mhm.
right now?
Fairly quickly.
So,
Okay, like Monday, or is that?
Yeah, I don't know what my schedule is right now,
Okay,
but
well, the
yeah.
only reason I ask is we'll have these bills, and then we'll have payroll.
Mhm.
Just do that as normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, everything. All right, is there anything else with that? Got it.
No, I think we
Right.
covered it.
Parks and forests. Is this Nate, do you wanna talk about this?
which one are we? which
Well,
one?
just where are we at with parks and forests? I mean, one thing is, as you're, I mean, I could start. Like, when we asked you, you said what your work schedule is gonna be this week? Oh,
No, you're good, go.
yeah, I mean, the big issue I have is you're not responding to the board because you're doing other things.
Well, a good example was,
Like let me just finish.
okay, go
Like the
ahead.
electricity in the park, that's gonna be a big project that was funded with American Relief Funds. I feel you shouldn't be working on that. I feel that you shouldn't be assisting doing all this other work if you're not responding to us. So I think it's important that we have capable employee in Steve. Steve should be able to follow through on closing up the parks, finishing the parks. He doesn't need training. And I just really feel like you need to start focusing on a succession plan.
I'm not closing the park, so you know. or anything
I
like
understand,
that.
let me just continue.
Yes,
Cause this is gonna be, does anyone else get that feeling? Like,
Right, no, it
I
needs
mean,
to be,
I come to these meetings a little pissed off because I've asked all these questions up front and I have to wait. And it's just like, why is the board last in line as far as priorities with this district? That's the feeling I'm getting. And I understand because your workload may be so heavy and you're used to having a board that doesn't participate. So we just need to make these adjustments so that you can focus on what is important to the board, not what you think is important for wrapping up all these loose ends. And I think, this electric and water going into the park shouldn't involve you at all. I just don't see why you should have a role in that at this junction when we have a guy like Steve. That's my feeling on it.
well, Steve hasn't done, in the 13 years we've been there, he hasn't done the administration of it. He's done the on the ground.
Yeah, I'm not talking about administration, I'm talking about on the ground. So your work schedule this week was meeting with contractors about water and electricity. I'm just like,
but his background also, back it up a little bit, his background is, he has a background in administrative and running parks and stuff. He ran everything, including the county buildings in Menominee County for I'm throwing it out there, 11 years.
The maintenance part.
Previous before this, so, yeah, I just don't see that he's gonna be an county employee here as of the first of the year. They have a contract with him to run the parks. He's pretty much ran the parks for the past 12 years. I don't see that Steve needs any supervision, because I think that it actually becomes, hinderative. And, I was in the park on Monday, obviously it was a holiday, but the Billy Electric guy wanted to meet with them because they wanna stake it out and stuff like that, and Steve, just overhearing conversation and stuff, tried to get a hold of you all weekend, you were unavailable, Steve steps in and takes it. I don't think Steve needs any supervision. I agree with Joe that, you should be concentrating on, district, functions from here on out.
But one of the district functions is the park. but-
Well, with the exception of the park then, because the park is in good hands.
Rory, you're winding down.
Correct.
You sent an email, you shouldn't be out putting posts in the ground. I mean, at 6 or 7 or 8 o'clock, because sometimes you send the email back, saying, well, I was working till 7 o'clock putting a post in the ground or something, whatever it was. We need you focusing on these questions that are being asked, because we're trying to get up to speed, and you have the information to get us up to speed. So you probably ought to be in the office maybe, getting back to these, answer these questions. So it doesn't have to ask you 5 times for the same damn thing.
Well,
So, I mean, you said, no, I'm out, I ruined my phone, I'm putting a post in the ground. Where are you? Up at Cornell, putting a post in the ground?
there were some things that needed to be done up there, but I've mostly done the stuff in the forest. But here's a good example, what you guys don't see is, well, I know, but you say it, making it sound like I'm off doing something else that I don't need to do. Steve did meet with Billy Electric. I wasn't planning to do that. But the bookwork and the office administration, that's what I've done. So you guys probably should stop in and talk to the 2 seasonals that are in that office and see who responds to them and who shows up for them the entire summer. The other thing is, not this Sunday, but the Sunday before, at 8:30 at night on a Sunday, I got a call from Steve, and he said, I forgot to tell you, but I'm taking this week off. We have no camp host at all at Fuller. Nobody's there cleaning bathrooms, nobody's doing that. That's what he was doing. So all of a sudden then, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, should I have not went to Fuller? Should I?
What dates was that?
Not this Sunday, the Sunday before.
Okay, so this was your schedule for this week, October 10th. Joe suggested I set out my schedule for this week of what I'll be working on. I will be in the field with Lindsay this morning. Items I will be working on this week. PTP campground construction project.
That's getting the.
I'm reading, man.
Go ahead.
Please don't
Right,
interrupt me.
right, go ahead.
Meeting with employees on proposed and new grants. Also for personnel committee, remember the employees have asked for a sit down for you to discuss personnel policy and other items and how the district will be moving forward. Time assisting the UP State Fair on their construction grant with the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund. Three of those things in there, Steve should be in charge of, and if Steve can't do it, then he could either reach out to one of us or you.
What is the 3?
Pioneer Trail Park Campground Construction Project.
I'm not doing the construction part. I'm sending in the stuff to the DEQ or Eagle.
Okay, then you need to be a
And I've always
lot
done
more
that.
specific about what you're doing. Meeting with employees on proposed new grants.
Right, the new grants will be coming out. Have you received them yet?
Oh, but that should all been, we've already done all that. That should all be wrapped up.
The
in personnel
employees,
committee.
the employees, we always sit down
Yeah.
with them because they're all getting a raise, right? The grant's going up. They wanna know what they're making with this kind of stuff, and that's what I've always done. That's district
Then send them the
administration.
grants and they can read them. Everyone in that office knows what they're doing. They all keep timesheets. They know how to run their own projects. This idea of sitting down with them, going over personnel policy, I talked to each one of them. None of them seemed to understand what that was all about. So when you say they wanna meet with us, I've already met with them. I've
Okay.
talked with them and I'm like, we have other priorities here. Your priority needs to be succession. So when you're out in the field, putting it, like Glenn said, putting in posts, I'm just like running around trying to figure out how to work Cornell to your advantage. Look we have issues here, Rory. You have issues with the board, and you have issues with me.
So who's gonna work with the employees to write work agreements? Who's gonna decide in their grant how much,
Do they sign those work agreements?
sometimes no.
I've never seen a signed work agreement.
The key though is,
The key is they know how their grants work. If
Okay.
they have issues, they should reach out to the
there's
person.
not a
on
one
call.
of them right now except Holly knows what she's getting paid on Monday.
Really? They don't know, because they haven't looked at the grants?
They don't know what the hourly increase is. I've always worked with them on that.
Okay, why don't you just send them an email? Done.
And just say what it is,
Yeah, of course. If they have any questions, they can come back.
because then there's a lot, okay, but there's a lot.
I mean, we need to start making this stuff work for us, because it's not working for us. You're not working for me. I mean, maybe these guys feel differently, and I realize.
We need to get back to the park issue.
Yeah, how do you
I
want to
mean, we
proceed?
got off that, I say at the park issue, the park's closing, Sunday is the last day of the park.
Yeah.
From Sunday moving forward, I say that your contribution to the park is completely limited, and Steve Reary takes from Sunday till the end of the year. If he has anything like the permitting or anything that needs directly to you, that's fine, but Steve should be handling all park, closings, he does it all, he should be doing that, then you can focus on district work.
Okay, what is closed?
Does that close all the lands? Because there's Cornell, there's Sac Bay, there's Rapid River, all that stuff.
All the parks close in the day use area.
Okay, does
Forest
Cornell,
doesn't-
Cornell's not closed.
No, that doesn't close, that does nothing.
So it's the parks.
So you don't have any responsibilities up in Cornell between now and the end of the
Nope,
year?
just had to put up one sign, I shut up and did it.
Perfect.
Well, it's not perfect, because I need to know what limited is. In other words, I've been doing the finances and figuring all that out, working with Ashley to find out what the 10%, we gotta figure that out, right? Somebody's gotta figure out what the 10% of the district is, minus this, minus that.
That's right.
These bills go back, so I'm
Oh,
guessing.
that's you, yeah.
Yeah,
You are
that's just, we're just
fiduciary.
talking
Oh,
about
yeah, dude.
day-to-day operations.
Who
We're
else
just
has
talking boots on the
access to
ground.
QuickBooks?
Okay.
Who does all the accounting?
Okay, me.
Okay.
Right, so this is what I'm trying to get clarified, because you guys make it sound like now I'm doing all this stuff in the park. So I told you, he let me know on a Sunday he wasn't there.
Okay,
I
that's-
had to go do it, no, hold on. And now this week, he's not there either. He did show up Monday, and a holiday, because I went to camp for 3 days, and he was there for 2 hours, and he met with Steve, and he marked out.
You went
He
to
has-
camp for 3 days. You were on vacation?
No, Saturday, Sunday, and a holiday.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Steve has not been back in the park. He won't be back through Tuesday. So who takes up that when all of a sudden he isn't there?
Can
I
Steve
did.
communicate that with us? Who's gonna cover it? If you need to cover it, you need to work on it. We just need to know what you're
Tell
doing.
it, yeah, just tell us you didn't tell us that.
Yeah, you just,
Well, that's
Because
why
they keep-
I put in there, I was
but they
gonna be working in the parks.
When I see PTP construction, I think water and sewer. Like, what needs to be done with that? I thought that was a done deal.
No, the engineering plans need to be looked over, now they have to be submitted to the DEQ. So I've
Steve's
always
not
done,
capable of doing that?
I've always done it.
Yeah, I think Steve could do that. I would think so. If he's not comfortable with it, let him communicate back to Nate.
no, yeah, cause he's gonna be, you're not gonna be there. The financial part of it, yeah, you have to get all the loose ends tied up
No,
with that.
this is getting the
But
license.
well,
Or the
that's, let me
permit,
get to that.
Getting the permit.
Then I'm saying day-to-day operation, and for him to finish out the year at the park, Steve's capable of it, let Steve do it.
Oh, that's what he always has.
So then, that's it, that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Steve has day-to-day, so we don't wanna hear, and if Steve's not gonna be able to be there or whatever, then he needs to reach out.
Joe, let me inject this.
Please.
So but there is something that's gotta go into the DNR, that's what you're telling us.
DEQ.
DEQ. Well, then just tell us, this is what I'm doing this thing for the DEQ. I don't need to hear that you're doing it at 7 or 8, 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Just do what needs to be done and put it in, this is what I'm doing this week. But like we're saying, you don't need to go up to, you don't have to go to Cornell, you don't have to deal with these parks. Just get this,
Well, I had to
get
deal
all
with
this, get the paperwork done then.
I had to deal with the parks and you didn't show up because those restrooms
No, I
have to
understand
be
that.
cleaned.
You can just say, you know, I'm filling in for them, that's fine. I mean, I think everyone can understand that, but the other paperwork that has to be gotten in, we're not saying don't do that. It's, that Eagle thing's got, whoever the hell it is there,
Okay,
it's gotta go in.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, Steve always closes the maintenance part of the park. Always has, always, hopefully will. Hopefully he'll be back.
let me ask this question while we're at it. What, do they have the grants in their possession? They can see how much money is in that grant?
No, nobody's got the grants yet.
Hey, then what?
I sent you guys the drafts, right? And they were all zero.
Well, what would we sit down them, what would we talk to them about? When sat down, I know you said it in 3 emails now. What are we gonna talk to them about if we don't have that stuff in our possession? To know how much those grants are?
Well, we're waiting for the grants. And
From
Joe's,
MDR.
they're gonna be sent
So
directly to
once
Joe.
MDR signs those grants, but Mike's gonna sign them, if you remember correctly, but that's
I
fine.
think the chairman has to.
No, we talked about that at the last meeting, so I'm
Okay.
gone. And so we designated Mike and Rachel said it's fine.
Okay.
But
Those grants are set by MDR. There's no playing with them, so
Right.
just, they can handle that themselves. I mean, they all seem very capable.
But there's a definite question among the employees
Okay.
between, and I sent this to you guys, exempt and non-exempt.
Yeah, and that's gonna take an HR person.
Yeah, that's,
And I've talked to them, no one seems bothered by this. Yeah.
Okay, so, but to do a work agreement, I'll still be here, you know, through December. Those work agreements, I believe, have to be done the end of November. So that has to be in there, correct? Or not?
And then just keep the status quo and
Yeah.
we'll amend them as needed. And they don't sign them anyway, so. And that's the thing where if they do extra work, they could get extra pay and then
But I was hoping we would meet.
2,080 hours.
Payroll's coming,
Full-time salary.
payroll's coming Monday.
That's fine. Nothing's gonna change. MDR said this. This is the state giving you. These are your grants. These are, I mean,
But Joe, this is what'll change. If they're non-exempt, then they're hourly.
none of them work over 40 hours. And they do flex time. The only one who doesn't do this is you. They all work 40 hours. Holly used to do this extra stuff in the park and then got paid that $10,000 bonus. And I've already told you, I don't think that's legal. But whatever, that water's under the bridge.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm
What are you
talking
talking about?
about if they're exempt, because when NRCS, right? Holly is not an NRCS person.
Let's call them all
Neither
not
is-
exempt until we revisit this with an HR
If they're
professional.
non-exempt, then they're gonna have to, right, if they go
We're gonna have
over,
to keep
I'm
those
sorry.
timesheets.
if they go over 40.
Please help
May
me.
I real quick?
Absolutely.
You should just leave your employees as they are right now. If they are exempt, leave them exempt. If they're non-exempt, leave them non-exempt. Leave them as they are, and you can address it when you hire an HR consultant to help you through this process.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you, because that's what I need to know by the first time sheet.
is that what you meant in the email?
Yes.
I said, tell me what the concern is?
That's the big one.
Okay, all right.
But you have,
Yes, I put
Well,
an
we got it.
example.
We got it.
I thought if the
All right, we got
personnel
it.
met with the
Yeah, yeah.
employees,
Just-
I agree, maintain.
Just
Okay.
keep what you got.
All right.
Go from there.
sounds good.
So are we clear on the park issue then, that moving forward, as far as we're concerned?
Is this a motion?
You know what, no, no,
Day-to-day?
please, under new business, I put park supervisor, so
Okay,
why don't just wait till then, until we get through this?
that's fine.
Perfect. What's your thoughts, think about this, all right.
Okay, I do have,
Oh.
do you want me to introduce this? Yeah, I have a little,
I got Cornell, is this the Cornell stuff?
yeah.
I
You
have
have
that
that
under new
listed?
business as well, under C.
Oh, you have another page here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
man, we're gonna be here for,
Keep
Good
going.
Lord.
until the next time Bill's.
Let's go then.
All right, excellent. MDARD report, Rachel's not here. NRCS report, Mike Van Wyck is not here. There's no staff here besides Rory. Commissioner and liaison. Commissioner Barron was here. Oh, there he is, thank you.
Commissioner reviews.
Recognize you without your red hat on.
Commissioner
Like a trademark, I love
Well,
it.
the board met this week on Tuesday. There really wasn't anything pertaining to Soil Conservation District, we have another meeting next Tuesday. This one this week was statutory by the state of Michigan. April and October, we have to have an extra meeting for the state. Other than that, that's basically it.
All right. Thank you.
Commissioner View.
Oh, Commissioner View. You're not official, but,
We are welcome to hear.
No,
we're honored by your presence.
I'm honored by your meeting. I really like how you get into things.
Hey, yeah, it's
But
public service.
I just have a comment, and it means nothing, that some of the stuff you pass, like that forensic thing, like, I wish you would've looked at, putting a price on it. It can, I've seen it go up to $10,000 to $100,000 for going through a hard drive, and I didn't know if you knew that or not, but it could be pretty expensive, so that's something I would like you to at least look at before you go forward with it.
Appreciate that.
that's
Oh,
it.
yeah, if it's a shock to the system.
I mean, it might be
I'm sure.
3,000 too, I don't know, I'm just saying, I've dealt with some stuff like that, and depending on the hard drive and what you're trying to get, it can be very expensive.
Right.
So I just wanted to make that.
Yeah, and that motion, just to clarify, was just to give us that we were all on the same page.
Well, I thought you were gonna send it in, and not even ask. that.
No, we just, we wanted the board to be on the same page.
We want the clarity that we can do something,
My comment, that's it,
Without-
thank you.
You bet, thank you for attending our meeting.
but not without prices.
Unfinished business. Did you get to review the quote from Fisher for directors and liability? It was, I think,
Yes.
$1,543.
Is that total or is that per board member?
Oh, no, that's full for all.
That's
of us.
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, well,
I'm a little bit higher because I talk more. No, it's, to bond us, it's 1543. And that's,
and that's
yeah,
yearly?
presumably. Yeah,
So you.
that's
does
how
we
I
need a-
read it.
Crazy rate.
Yes, I read it
Yeah,
that
do
way
we need a
also.
motion on that?
Oh, yeah.
Then I would move that we accept that bid.
Pull the trigger on that.
Second that.
Glenn, is there any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks for helping put that together, Rory. Appreciate it.
Who do you actually pay Fisher?
Fisher, yeah, and we're bonded as of the 1st of October. So,
So we include that in this,
yeah, we're authorized to pay that.
Yeah.
when we do the bills, we'll
That will be.
add that.
Yeah, I think that sounds appropriate. CPO, Schneider, Larch and Hapley, I think we took care of that up in the finance?
We beat that to death.
Okay, so we're a go there.
Vehicles are done.
Vehicles are done, oh man, new business. Paying of the bills.
Here they come.
And is it the same list that you sent us?
No, there's some more that came.
Do you have a list of what we got or no?
No, I just brought them.
Okay, bring them over here, let's take a quick look.
I don't know if this is possible rather than hand them, because it'll take forever. How about if I just?
How about you
do
just
this?
give them me and I'll just read them off to
Okay, perfect.
folks.
There's some I do want to explain, not the cost, but what.
UP
what-
propane, $607.
Yep, that's when the bathhouse propane tank ran out of gas, so filled it up.
What is this?
Where you at?
12x8 white aluminum sign with black lettering, 1 radius, Delta Walking County Trail with area?
Yep, that's the one I went out and put.
And what does that one say?
It
on
tied them together, it tied the walking trails.
So this is a park then,
Uh,
and so is this.
I'll probably mostly it's part.
Right. Lindsay's reimbursements.
Yep, she went to a training, so she has her food and her gas and motel there.
$101.
Yep.
Total
Motel, yep, motel we paid, but the other one's hers.
That was a Marquette.
$1,000 for
Society of American
electricity.
Sisters.
Yes.
Woo,
We have-
$995.
What is it, Joe?
Upco, wow, $1,112.
Hey, there might be multiple ones, don't just look at the top one.
Well, if it's Upco, I think it's okay.
Okay, yeah, that's all part.
Those bills are non-negotiable. Oh, $1,292, wow.
Oh, keep going. It's probably about 4,000 or 5,000.
Don't scare me.
All right, 1,400 here.
Yep, And they don't all come as one, that's what I'm trying to
Let's
say.
see this. Spectrum. Current charges due,
That's just the phone, monthly.
126, but total due is 626.
Oh, Spectrum. That's the new phone system over at the NRCS office, and it rings, but do you notice the phone number there?
I don't.
Should be maybe on the first page, there's some crazy ass phone number there.
All right. Well, is this legit?
Yes and no.
Oh, that's good.
Well, no, the bill's legit. Okay, so this $499.55, that's already done, you guys did that last time, so we only owed $126.90, but here's the problem we're having. See this phone number? 420-8132. We only have 2 phones right now. One is a park phone, right, 786-1020, and the other one, we moved from there, that was the district's, that's the 553-7700, over to Gladstone. It's not, they don't put the right phone numbers, they keep putting this. I didn't know what the hell this was, so I was on the phone with them for an hour yesterday to move the 553-770 over to the NRCS office. We had to get in this, I don't even know what the hell it was called. In other words, that's the number to it, but that number doesn't exist. But it overrides the 553-77, Ring Central. That's a Ring Central number, which means nothing. So basically, I have to go now, we'll pay this tonight, because it's a bill, the 26th, 126. But I gotta go get, and one of you guys wanna go, you're welcome. I gotta go get it with Tom Myra, because he is the business person locally.
Yep.
And we gotta have this out, because they're not billing us correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell
So is that a Mike thing?
Tell Todd I say hello.
Yeah, you don't wanna go?
No, I can't. All right. But you recommending to pay this bill?
Yes, the 126.
Okay with it. Verizon's 88.
Yep, that's the little phone.
What's this Riverside GMC last payment of $100? Or $237.
I believe that's, if it's a GMC, Steve brought the truck into there to get it tuned up or whatever.
Which truck?
The
Park truck.
So that's a park.
Okay.
That's a county truck.
Great. Business Solutions, $174 from BP.
Yep,
What is this one?
that's gas.
Oh, gas.
And we don't pay any taxes on that, so that's a good thing.
Daily Press, $135.
That was the,
Public comment notice.
Advertising.
yeah, that was
General
for the
appropriation
meeting we had
act.
last time.
Appreciate that. Road Commission, this is for diesel fuel to the parks.
Yep, diesel and gas. So that's parks.
Delta Disposal,
Garbage.
Delta County Parks. And the last one here is 41 Lumber.
Couple months.
Yeah, it's a small one.
Yeah, they're all small, guest copy. Okay. Nursery license renewal application.
Yep, we gotta have a nursery license every year, so it's $100 from MDA.
All right. I don't have any questions on these, how about you guys?
I make a motion, we pay them.
Also,
Second that,
And with that, the Fisher one, which we don't have.
which we.
perfect.
Did you get anything from them? You must have got something.
Yeah, I forwarded it to you, so I think you just
Okay, what's that?
call
Today?
Karen and just, no, it was a while,
I don't remember. Okay,
Mike, are you gonna throw that bill in there for that battery?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got one more. There's
Thank
a-
you.
okay, approve that.
And that's that bill for the battery for
This
the
is
car.
the battery
for the car.
125.
125.
130.
Yeah. Or 130, yeah.
130. Well, hello there. You wanna
Good
join
boy.
the board? You must be looking for the district manager.
We also have a payment.
One trainee right there, Rory. Yeah. I'll give him an interview.
So who gets this?
We also have a.
Well, you
payment
can make it out to Mark
For
Sotto.
the,
Oh, okay, that's a,
district
You
property.
can get it to me, I'll get it to him.
And this is a payment from Scott Stryker for the lease on the.
And then that's at least, where are we gonna, we're gonna have to have a file where you can keep that lease on, so it's,
The
actual
actual
lease.
lease agreement. I have one here.
we need to get some kind of a system.
It'll be in the NRC office, why don't you
Okay.
just give that to Rory so we can file?
Oh, this is the,
That is the signed
This
one.
is mine.
Yep.
yep.
Signed by everybody?
Yep.
All right, are we done with the money?
Paid all bills.
Oh, next one,
We didn't,
what do we need to do? Oh,
we were paying bills, we didn't,
I made the motion,
Oh.
somebody seconded it,
Hold
or
on.
did they?
I'll second it.
You did. You did.
I did. Any more discussion? All those in favor of paying our bills as presented?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much. Ready to move on? This is mine, and I haven't talked about it to anyone because I just discovered it yesterday. There's been, how many contracts have we had this year for you, Rory? One on January 11th. So your contract went, the first one went from March 2020 to September 30th, 2022. And that was signed by Jack Herrick, that was 3 years. And after that, your contract lapsed, and it was picked up again on January 11th, 2023. And it was supposed to go through September 30th, 2022, which is a typo, obviously. And I knew of this because I FOIA'd for it, and I know Richard Clark FOIA'd for it. And most of these contracts are 2 pages, and this one was 2 pages. But I just noticed yesterday, when I was looking at the records, that this actually had a 3rd page. And that 3rd page, or that 2nd page out of 3, that wasn't included in the FOIA, had an agreement extension that reads, "This agreement extension is being made in good faith for the benefit of the Conservation District and employee. All conditions in the previous agreement that expired on September 30th, 2022 will be retroactive from October 1st, 2022 and extended until March 31st, 2023. The only difference is that the annual salary will be equal to the approved 2023 Appropriation Act already passed by the Delta CD Board of Directors for fiscal year 23 on September 29th, 2022. This, being not included in our FOIAs, is a problem, because you got a raise, at least on paper, from $100,000 to $120,000 at end of September. So when I FOIA'd for this, and Richard Clark, we only got 2 out of 3 pages missing this, because your subsequent amendments to your contract include one from May 15th and June 20th, and I think the June 20th takes us to December 31st. And in the subsequent ones, instead of being tied to the Appropriation Act, just says, for all services performed, the board shall pay the employee his current salary until December 31st. And the annual salary remained frozen. And then the next one was, for all services, the board shall pay the employee his current salary until December 31st, but it never said what the current salary rate was. So I think we have an issue with going from 100 to 120,000, because that was never discussed in an open meeting. And this amendment extension on January 11th, it wasn't made clear to anyone that there was an increase in your salary. And to send this out as a FOIA with this missing kind of conceals what you were being paid. So, are you being paid 100,000 or 120?
100,000.
And so, are you telling me that in January, this was retroactively put back to, when, the 1st, or back to the end of September when your contract had already lapsed?
I don't know, I'll have to see them or read them, right?
Yeah. Why did you not include that when this was sent out as a FOIA?
I'm guessing I did.
Oh, you
I don't know.
didn't?
Well,
No.
Well, I kept them all, so I'm gonna have
Oh,
to
I know,
look
but
back.
this didn't go through,
Okay.
so there's been a lot of changes to your contract over a very short period of
It's
time.
just been extended and extended and extended.
It was also changed. You really went from I mean, the biggest changes are going from just and sufficient just cause criminal misconduct without the fear, yeah, basically it was without the fear of termination except for good and sufficient just cause criminal misconduct. That was in January. And then in May, we went to a no termination clause and then included the $50,000 automatic bonus. We've talked about that bonus, we've talked about your DLA, and we still haven't seen any. The bonus I don't know what to do with, because it's listed in here as.
Yeah, it's not
to assist
actually, it's not
for the
actually a
park.
bonus. The reason that was put in, I can tell you right now, otherwise I would have been done on May 15th, was because at that time, there was still no park manager from the county.
No, I
You guys
understand.
remember that?
Right.
So I was gonna train somebody in, but I ended up having to do the entire thing. And I knew what was gonna happen, because they had previously done it for 12 years. So I knew it was gonna be a boatload of work.
Oh, right, your possible compensation for incentive pay to compensate the employee for extra work during the transition. So this is a part, as far as I'm concerned, this looks like something that should be billed to the county. This is a reimbursable expense back to the county, this 50,000. And I mean, we're gonna help you move all that stuff out, but, you know, we need to discuss that. I also, from the previous district manager, there's a lot with park assistants, park. Are those being charged back to the county for reimbursement as part of this sort of wrapping up?
Okay, you're going so fast.
I'm sorry,
I don't
I'm
have it in
sorry.
front of me.
No, I'm kinda
Okay,
Speedy
when you
Gonzalez
say
on this.
prior, now, what'd you just say, prior district manager?
Yeah,
If they did work for the parks,
right.
yes, it was.
Okay, so that will have to be billed and reimbursed by the county then? Is that what you're telling me? Were you planning on doing that? This would have been Tina's position.
Okay, I don't, ask me again.
So Tina's position on her time cards.
Yeah.
Say, a lot of it was park. She was working in the parks.
Correct.
While she was training as district manager. But doesn't really break down how much park assistance there was and what was the district manager stuff. So what I'm saying is, what is applicable to maintaining the parks, it's my understanding, that gets billed back to the parks. So the parks are gonna cover part of her salary. And then the second part of it, your previous board, paid incentive pay of 50,000 to help with the transition after the 12 years that the district was managing it. The transition from the parks back to the county, that's why you're getting this $50,000 incentive pay. That to me is also a parks expense. So that should be billed back to the county.
I don't know if that is.
Well, it should be, because that's the purpose of the incentive pay.
Because there was also the plan of a transition with the district too. Getting back to NRCS office, doing all that
Oh, right,
stuff with,
right,
yeah.
but that's a bit, yeah, so, you know,
But
unfortunately.
that contract is with the district.
Right, but
Yeah.
these are reimbursable funds. I mean, we're paying UPCO bills of thousands of dollars with the understanding the districts or the county's gonna reimburse those.
Well, no, that money's there.
Well, all the money, I mean, our contract now is they keep the money, we give them invoices associated with park functions. Oh,
No.
we're gonna have to review this together.
Yes, that's why I met with Ashley
Right.
yesterday. So you know.
But if you talk to Ashley about this $50,000
No,
incentive pay
because
for
that's
you,
with the district, that has nothing to do, there's no signatures from the county.
it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We have the contract to manage these parks. If we go out, like when you did the ponds last year, you go out, the county pays for it. You go put up a post, the county pays for it. Whatever you do, we charge back to the county. The fixing of the ponds this year, that got charged back to the parks, this county. So the county pays for everything associated with the parks. We do work for the parks, we get reimbursed. This is that whole incentive pay, bonus stuff, whatever. That 50,000 is gonna have to come from the county. That's a reimbursable expense associated with a tremendous amount of effort to move all the district stuff out of the park. So, you know, you're the only one who's accommodated for the extra incentive pay to do that, but, you know, it has to be done. So that's gonna have to go back to the county. County's gonna have to pay for that expense. Must be one of the other commissioners. Does this make sense to you guys? Does it make sense to you, Commissioner Barron?
Not yet.
Okay. So there's two things, and then I'll also, you know, the work that Tina did on behalf of the parks, that's gotta be charged back to the parks too, as administration or however you wanna word it.
The county,
The district.
You can ask Rory, yeah, are we on the same page with this?
I think what you're asking, we'll sit down, us two, and we'll go through this.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna have to sit down and understand this as a board.
I need the figures right in front of me. I need
Okay.
to look back what we've been billing, what we haven't. But Joe, just so everybody here understands, only the money from camp spots went to the county this year. Okay?
Right.
We rolled over, and don't hold me to the figure perfect, but I'm close. We rolled over 111,000 because we didn't do projects last year.
Mm-hmm.
And we had that there because I sent it to Ashley and
Mhm.
Bob. Then we were paid $42,300 or something.
American Relief Funds, yeah,
For cabins,
42,500.
for cabins. And what I wanted to know is, if you remember, we did the entire bathhouse at Fuller Park, so it's about 30 grand, give or take. And there's still 49,000 sitting in the money we have,
Okay,
okay? That is technically county park money.
yeah, that could almost pay the bonus, but we got other,
Well-
or incentive pay, so.
Well, so I wanted to know if we give 30, and then you turn around and give it back, but like Ashley said, we were the ones who got the bills,
Right,
and we paid those bills.
good.
So Ashley then, that's one of the things I had to get in my brain, so we will be billing, I have to put together all those invoices, we will be sending those to the county, and we will be billing the county for that 30, whatever thousand, so we will receive that.
Right, but we're also, like anything else that we need to do, projects
Oh, yes.
or expenses, get billed back to the county.
Yes, all these bills.
And then
that
that's
were-
part of the, I think we're on a 10% allocation this year.
Right, minus the 111, minus the
Right.
42.
That's fine.
Minus the 30, and there was one other minus.
Okay,
So, yeah, so,
but we also, you know, need to look at this 50,000 in incentive pay for the contract. And also the extra staff time that was required to do administration in the park.
yeah, that's always done like that.
Right, not just the seasonals, but
Oh, right.
Tina's work too, and I don't see that being billed to the county yet. And I think that's an important expense that the county needs to come up with, and, you know, yeah, I just wanna make sure that stuff is not overlooked.
No, that's why
Right.
I gotta get everything done here in a short amount of time.
I understand, but that missing page on this contract makes a big difference.
Well, that seems, yeah, it just
And I
seems
don't-
weird, so I'm gonna have to look back what
All
was
right.
sent and why it popped off, or. don't
I
know.
just wanna make these gentlemen aware of it, so that, you
The
know.
signature is on the last page, I'm
It
guessing?
is.
Okay.
And the idea of retroactively going back and applying the terms after the fact, I don't know the legalities of that. And I really, you know, it'd be nice to have to avoid, any more attorney fees on this stuff, but I just needed to point that out. So I can sleep better at night. Thank you. Anybody have any questions for me?
Well, I gotta make a comment, because I have at the board meetings, the Delta County Board. I was concerned about the $50,000, and it sounds like it's transitional. If you're transitioning someone, why is the district paying you? The part of the county would be paying you. That $50,000 would be coming from the county, it seems to me. You're transitioning the parks to the county. Why is the district gonna pay that? Doesn't make any sense. It's never made any sense to me, to be honest with you. Of course, the whole thing never made any sense to me. You were at the board meetings, you were, I got up and said, I don't understand this at all. If you recall, I pointed a finger at Dan at that time, and said, that ever happened to you when you left the DNR? That's, you know, that's just never sat really right with me. But they bought into it, you know, so I don't.
Well, I was only being hired till May 14th. So if I went farther, there had to be another contract.
Yeah, and there's been like 2 or 3.
No, not since May.
No, there was one in June. You amended it in June as well.
Oh, I don't know, like I said, I'll have
Yeah.
to look back.
Yeah, it was on June 20th, the day before the election. Yeah, and I don't remember all the term changes to it, but.
I know I have
I
them all.
think basically
in
the term changes on that one were just the legal, the termination of the legal fee.
Right.
When it,
But the reference to the current salary just never made sense to me at all. Because the original one was frozen at the 2020 appropriation.
May I ask,
Yeah,
what
of course.
are you said you're paid 100,000?
Yes.
Last meeting you said 120.
I know what I said, but I went back and looked, because again.
You don't
just
remember
did
what
a-
you were paid? Yeah, are you kidding me?
Are you paid 100 or 120
Yeah,
right
well-
now?
He said 100,
You said 120 last board meeting.
but 100
Who's
tonight.
got a calculator?
No.
Well, I know what I
get
get per hour, I'll just times it by 2,080.
All right, well, if we're only paying 100, then,
Okay.
that's even better.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the
Bonus.
case.
That's a bonus, maybe for all
But
of us.
again, when I do numbers, I like them in front of me,
I
and I'm
understand.
guessing you guys do too.
Okay, can we
Fair enough.
move on?
See,
Anybody else? Move on. C, Cornell Forest Property.
try to be brief.
Please.
This was, you're out.
you do that. Thank you.
Yeah?
I got some extra here too, if you want, just to follow along.
Yeah.
We can try to be.
Pictures were taken today, there's blue sky. Raining out. It does have a steep edge, doesn't it?
Okay, the main topic of this is, on this forest property, number one, first of all, you know, I have to say, it is truly an asset. This is a very, very well, set up. It has a lot of potential and stuff. The issue that's come up are accessibility. And there's accessibility in several different areas. And the first area I'm just gonna hit on, and I'm just gonna go through from the original land trust application. It states on, I think it's item number 9, X, and it states, no individual shall be denied ingress or egress thereto or the use thereof on the basis of sex, race, color, religion, national origin, residence, age, height, weight, familiar status, marital status, or disability. And then when you go into the application narrative, which to my understanding coincides with the grant as being how you propose to meet these qualifications. It says in there, a special trail will be developed for persons with disabilities only. Approximately 80 acres will be set aside for permanent hunting blind placement and use for persons with disabilities. This use will be regulated and registered to ensure an enjoyable and uninterrupted experience. Okay, that isn't the case. There is no limited disability access or anything developed in this 1,400 acres, period. And if you look at the map that's in front of you, you will see the orangish trails are simply walking trails. They're not accessible by motorized vehicles at all. The pink ones are where you can access, the main road is the white one. That's the main road that goes in and out of the county forest area. And then when you hit the pink roads, that's as far as you can drive, and then they're gated, where it says parks or they show a gate. If you look at which would be on your right-hand side as you're looking at it, you'll look on the very eastern end of this property. You'll see there's a small black line that comes up from the access road, and it goes to 3 diamonds, which are barriers. And that is the access road that the county gave up easement on this past month. So that's no longer, it's been registered, that's no longer accessible by the public. It never was. When that piece of property was bought by the private individuals, a gate was put up at the other access road where it winds off to block that access off to that section. As you can see, the P on the far eastern end is the parking. That's the closest you can access it. From there on, it's hiking. And then you go all the way over to the west, which is on the left-hand side, and you hit the main parking lot.
Is that yellow P?
That's
Oh,
by
yeah.
the yellow P. That's the main parking lot. So if you look north of that, this whole section is only accessible if you walk. And just to get kind of a figure in your head of how far it goes, the first blue lines that jag up, that's about a 40 deep. So you're talking all the way across here, and I've walked this many times. From one of this end of this to the other, it's about 2.5 miles. And then from the other parking lot, it is. What I'm doing here today and what my goal would be here today, since the public was denied access to come in to maybe cut down where we could access this property and cut it in half. I would say when you look at over here, if you look at it, you'll see a black line that's drawn in off a road that comes up there. There's also a gate on the right or left-hand side. You'll see there's a gate that limits our access to that road as it is right now.
Where's that relate? Are you talking about from the P, the yellow P?
Right. If you go back to the east, go back
Right.
to the right a little bit.
That's the Stanek.
That's a Stanek gate that goes through there. It goes through a very short piece of his private property. It goes onto a road that goes all the way back. You'll see it, you can follow it all the way back. The yellow items are food plots, 1, 2, 3, and so forth as they go back. Those are only available to walk and not from his gate, because he has a private property signs up on the gate, which to my understanding, and get me wrong, we have the county actually has easement on this road.
I believe so. And that gate was established before Cornell, and the district paid that property owner back. That's in the meeting minutes.
Okay, so
I don't remember when, but I do
in
remember.
order for you to actually access this, you would have to go in where the yellow P is, and you go in that way. That is a walking trail all the way up here. So this whole eastern section is pretty much limited to being walking. You gotta walk to get in there. I'm 65 years old. I'm in pretty good shape. I walk a lot of this, but I'm getting to the end of it. There is very few people that I see that access this area. This is a very unutilized section of property that makes up probably, I would say, over a third of this total 1,400 acres. So with this limited access here, what I would like to see done is I would like to see the gate removed from this road, because this road that goes up here, the yellow road that goes straight up to the north, is a very, very good road.
What do you mean yellow road?
The Orange Road, excuse me. From Stanix Gate
Oh, yeah.
going north.
Your purple and.
The gate's right there. So,
So basically from the Legend, you're just talking due east of the upper corner of Legend.
mhm.
Where it says Delta County Forest, if you go to that end, it's just right,
Right, it's right there.
so it's east of the peak.
Right.
The yellow peak, got it.
And then the other thing I would suggest, since you're denied access through the private property, that we in turn put a road in that runs from that road that's just north of Stanix Gate and go due east all the way back to hit this trail system here and put a parking lot there. So that the public can now access that, cut the accessibility down by half. It's still a long ways. And then my suggestion would be to fulfill the trust agreements where they put in that they were gonna work with the people with disabilities. That you take this 80 acres that's down here on this corner and you also open that up and you develop that for the disability part of it. And there's two ways you can do it to go about it, or you can do them both. And I would suggest we do them both. There's another black line that comes down and runs along, goes north and south, and heads down and then heads east again, and then we'll access the main road that comes in on the county property at that point. You put a parking area in there, you develop this whole system here where it goes all the way around. So there's 2 food plots there, and there's actually a hidden third food plot there. Just past the barriers, there's a small food plot that's on the edge of the private property, but it's on county property. So I would suggest, and this goes to the pictures that you're gonna follow behind it. The barrier that would be, you could open this trail up from the parking area up to the 1-2 food plots, and then come around and you can develop areas to the south of that also. But in order to do that, you're gonna have to walk back something that was done here a year ago. And this is the reason why I am here today. Because I was in this area. I started about 3 years previously to this all happening. And I spent a lot of time up here. And like I can't go back and tell you enough that this was a nice setup and a nice area. So this is pretty much what the trail, the first picture you're looking at, this is what the trail looked like when we started this. This trail went all the way up, went around, came around, went up and went back. There was never on the far right-hand side along the property lines, there was never a design trail that came down through there. That was added later. So the second one's the same thing. This is once the berms were made in the road. Okay, these were done, and they were done under the presumption that they were wildlife ponds. And I've been told a dozen different descriptions on why they had to be dug in the middle of a trail or the road to block the road off. None of them make sense to me because it's not. Because this is what you have today. This is yesterday, or no, it was 2 days ago. This is what they've diminished to. And what you're seeing here, this pond area here, that's a hole that was dug with a large excavator. Okay, that goes down, that's about 6 feet, maybe some places 8 feet in the middle or whatever. That's a bathtub. That's downside walls where you've dug in with a hole, brought it out. This is just a closer picture. Now, if you look at this, there's barriers up here and there's signs. Those signs read, they say, danger, do not approach wildlife ponds. This is in a recreational area where you have people walking in, recreating, going in. So they're telling you to stay out of there because there's a danger ahead. The reason why there's a danger ahead brings you up to this. These are the so-called wildlife ponds that were dug. This is the sidewalk. Now, this is absolutely low water mark right now, because this is the lowest I've seen water up there. Places that have been wet for years are completely dry. The high water mark here, this spring, they were up here, they were full right to the top. They were full up to this level right here. So my concern, and you look at them here, you can see them. These are the sides. The only place that they're somewhat tapered is on the opposite ends. So my point exactly is, from this point forward, I'll call these what they are. They were roadblocks. And when I started this, I was informed ahead of time, before I knew it, because the person that informed me knew that I went in there a lot. And he said, when you go in there, I just want you to know that we dug a couple wildlife ponds, and we did this. And we are going to block off this trail from the parking area, right there, where the purple P is on the left-hand side, or right-hand side, excuse me. We're gonna go all the way around that trail to where it turns, where it goes back up to the north, and then heads back to the east, and you'll see one food plot there, the yellow diamond. That's where the barricades were put in. So it was blocked the trail off from there to there. I was informed that the trail was gonna be reseeded in trees, so it went back to forestation. Well, that's where it got my ear, and that's where I got involved in it, and I said, that's not right. I mean, was developed, it's nice, there was no reason to change this. There could have been, a wildlife pond could have been dug in one of those other food plots. They didn't need to be 20 feet deep. They could have been a shallow one, because all the way up to the north, on that food plot is where I hunt. There's a pond that's dug up there that I have a picture on my phone. I wish I I did it. It's wide open. It's out in a little kind of a clearing area. My dog can wade through it. In the summertime, she might have to swim a little bit in the middle, but this time of year, it's right up to her back. As dry as it is, that pond has held water in it. That pond has held water in it for the 5 years that I have been in there and walked by it. I walk by it 2 or 3 times a day this time of year, or a week. I walk by it, I mean, there all the time. It was significant. These were basically, and then as I pushed back, I went to a board meeting, saw that there was nothing, I wasn't gonna get any traction there. I was pacified that said, well, maybe that's not right. I brought Dan McAfee on, which Dan McAfee was a forester, was on the board at the time. He was a forester with the DNR. He has a background in wildlife management and stuff like that. I asked him point blank, Dan, would you dig a pond like that on property that you were managing? He had to tell me no. He said, no, that would not have been my choice. So this started to get walked back in phases. It got walked back into, well, then we're not gonna reforest it. We're gonna leave it open. And then it's like, there was a loop. And to add to that, what happened then is, in order to get to the back part of this, there was a trail bulldozed, which was an old skid trail, up along the property line on the east side, all the way up to join these trails. That trail was always there, but it was a deer trail. I walked it all the time, because my dog and I made a loop, and that's how I got to my deer hunting area, is I walked that, and I went through there. And it got bulldozed, so what it did is it put the property owners on the east side. It put the traffic of the people that are going to travel it, that are the public, on public land, it's putting them right up next to their property, which you have all the legal rights in the world to do that, but it's kind of, I don't know, is it ethical? No. So what happened is, and then it started to get walked around. Then it came in where they made a trail around the ponds, so that you could connect to them, you could still walk around the ponds. Because they're too dangerous to walk alongside them. And believe me, they are. There's very little room to get around them. Okay, then the trail was improved somewhat to where it is today. And then what you didn't look in the pictures, because I have pictures that go back when I first presented this, when they dug those ponds, they burned them up right in the middle of the trail. Now, I was told that the reason that was done, I was explained to that's how you do a pond. You dig out the pond, you put up the dirt, let it drain for a year, and then you spread it out. I have talked to a dozen contractors that build ponds. They build a pond and dig a pond and build a pond, and it's done. It was basically to make it inaccessible at the road. And they could have been done anywhere, but they were done close to the parking area, so that you couldn't access it. So when you look at this, it just kind of really makes you think, why would you want to block the public's access to that particular section? Well, it makes common sense when you look at it, when there's private landowners that border that side of the county forest. And they have three different areas. They have two direct areas that they can access right up to that. They're blocked off, don't get me wrong. They don't have roads onto the county property, but they're right up, they go right up to them. And there's one with the black one that we lost the easement on, and then there's another one farther down that goes up and comes right in at the corner where it comes down and goes to the east on the left. Those have access there. There is no reason why this property should not be developed and access should not be granted to the public, where you can get, your fathers, your mothers, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, or kids should not have access to this piece of property, because it is nice and it is enjoyable, but it is hampered at this point. And I would like to see going forward from here, I would like to see this develop with a road, easement road coming in that the public can drive to, park, and then get out and enjoy this. And then I would like to see this 80 acres developed with a plan, sit down and talk, meet with recreational people or whatever, handicap contingency, find out what needs to be done. And I think this needs to be a project. I think this needs to be done. I think this needs to be presented to the public, not just the individual.
Okay. And I appreciate this, because several of us has gone to the board, county board, about, is it my correct understanding that on December 31st, we are no longer gonna be in control of any kind of type of management on this parcel? Okay, I mean, I appreciate everything you wanna do, but the district is not gonna be involved in the planning process unless that county board reaches out and asks us for involvement.
Well,
Let me finish. So you have till December 31st to do some action here on something else.
Yeah.
And this is where, at least I'm speculating, that's where you're leading.
Yes.
For something, not necessarily the other roads, but this particular item here.
Very much so, because
So you gotta remember now, December 31st, we're not gonna have any flexibility with this unless the board says, you know what, we appreciate your understanding and knowledge of this parcel. And the county board I'm talking about comes and says, we'd like to have you involved with the long-term planning. This is what I would hope they would do, but I don't know exactly where they're gonna be sitting on this.
Right, and that's exactly where I'm going with this, because when I state these ponds, my other thing, if we develop this for handicap accessibility, I'm stating right now, we need to go in And because this is all that are on these ponds, there's enough fill and stuff that have been spread out on here. This road needs to be put back to the original track that it's followed. These holes, I'm not even calling ponds anymore because they're basically road bottoms. They need to be filled back in. There need to be a drainage culverts put on them so it keeps them dry, but this is the time to do it now because they're not very invasive right now. This could be walked back. And you make this accessibility for handicap hunters. You throw in 2 more food plots and blinds can be put on. You make this continuous here. You make a road that goes down along, heads north and south along the western border and comes back across the east and west and ties back to the access road.
I just want to interject one more thing. You won't be putting culverts out there without permits.
Well,
And you know, and let me
whatever we
finish,
have to do.
Let me finish.
And it's hunting
There-
season.
There are, that's irrelevant to you, but there are wetlands associated with this trail. Okay, they're adjacent to that trail, so we're not gonna talk about
Right, but
doing any drainage per se.
the road, I mean, I'm just saying, put the road back
Yeah,
so
well,
that
that's
the
fine.
road's
I
back.
agree. I just wanna make it clear that.
To where it is.
Call, you know.
It is
Saying
fun.
fill those ponds, just like.
I'd fill the ponds back in and put the road back to where it is. And then to address the hunting issue, that's not an issue because I've already been in contacted with a contractor. It depends on what we decide here today, to go ahead and look at it. This is all stuff, yeah, it's gonna take money. We plan on spending money. I mean, this is what, you know, what it's for. I mean,
What'd it cost, Murray? What'd it cost to dig those holes? You gotta have an idea.
yeah, because we got the bills. We got a pretty much idea what the bills
Yeah,
are.
I'd have to look up for sure.
10,000, 5,000?
I think it was less than 10.
I think it was 6 to dig them,
6?
3 to fix them.
6 and 3, and that was billed back to the county.
Yeah, so you guys paid for it. I mean, these are, this is the, I'm just making a suggestion here. This would, kill a lot of birds with one stone. It would look good. Because the public perception on this piece of property, since I've been involved in this, is that it is very, very limited. Like I said, it is a beautiful there is a gate that's a seasonal gate that's closed, and it's closed throughout the summer. Should not be closed throughout the summer. The reason stated to me was because in the spring when it's wet, they want people driving on it, tear it up. Understand that, but it's not wet, June, July, August. It's not open until September. This should be, and that's the pink road that goes up there. Then there's a gate that's closed that goes all the way to the back, and I have no idea why that's closed. Because that road actually has rock in it. It's actually it's the most solid piece of road. The worst road in this whole forest area is the main road coming in. It is terrible. It is rutted, it is clay. When it gets wet, it looks bad. A lot of people turn around because I know the first time I went in there, I had my wife with me. And I don't know, if you know me at all, you go out and look at my pickup, and it explains a lot. I'm not one to shy away from many things, but my wife stopped me and said, you know, here, we're not going through here. I'm with you, I'm not walking. You know.
That's a long walk home.
Yeah, but she didn't realize it.
You know how I feel, and I mean.
So, I mean, this is open, this is what I'd like to see done. I would like to, if need be, as the Conservation District Board, I would be willing to stick my neck out there and say that we get this rolling. And we look at this and we move forward with this.
Well, the only discussion I have with that is that those are a lot of things out there to do, which is gonna take a significant amount of money. But let me finish. So, are you paring this down to 1 or 2 things?
Right, I'm paring this down for immediate action, is that we put an access road in from point A to point B.
Just
And
like
then-
this map.
the next one,
with the exception of,
The black one.
right,
well, all the black lines on the county forest.
well, no, I'm just saying we do this, when I'm talking immediately, if we're going 1, 2, 3, this is number one, that access road that will run east to west, that'll get us back to that barrier and we make a parking area there. 2 is we fill in those roadblocks, those holes. We fill in those and we make this trail substantially through there. Because that can be even developed for handicap at that point.
I like your 80-acre idea.
Well, right,
Yeah.
and then the third, that would be number 3, as in priorities, is that we do develop the 80 acres totally for limited, or for disability
Unlimited.
access.
Unlimited access.
Or unlimited, yeah, that's what I said.
I mean,
Unlimited.
handicap
Yeah,
access.
handicap access. That would be my 3 steps of priority.
Clearing and grading a trail, that's good. That's gonna be some serious dollars.
Well, I don't know, we'll see.
I saw
You'll.
there was a trail that was around those 2 ponds.
Right.
What's the status of that? I mean, it's gonna grow back, but,
I mean, that's viable, that's
oh yeah, that
a
was just
decent
one,
trail.
I mean, that didn't take very much effort.
No, that was done with a rotary grinder, and then just, once it was, leveled off, they just followed it. And that's basically what your access road is. You're not talking about putting in a blacktop road here, Glenn. We're just talking about, this
I know.
is high country here, I walked it a couple
I'm
times.
familiar
I'll
with
walk it
clearing
with,
for-
I'll walk it with the
forest.
contractor, if you wanna be involved with it, we'll get there, but he'll give me he'll give us an idea of what,
Well, you
What
did
we're
it.
looking
wanna
at.
take I mean, before we get too, you wanna take act? What do you think?
if I need to be, I will make a motion that we look forward into this and we move on.
To do it? You wanna make a motion to do it, and then we can discuss it?
I'll make the motion that we
Or do you wanna talk
do
about
this.
it more, Glenn, what's your feeling?
You know, I want those holes filled, and that's, really where I stand. I think that it'd be okay to get someone in here to look at it, to see what costs are for those roads. Having built roads or trails, I'd like to see the costs on those other ones first before I.
Why? It's not our, I mean, we have the authority to do it. It's the county.
Huh?
Well, that contract, this is the interesting thing about the contract with the county,
Yeah.
is they gave exclusive privilege to the board of directors of this conservation district, because I've been at that podium more times than anyone here, and it was talk to the hand. This is the district takes care of it, that's the guy in charge. And that's one of the reasons I'm sitting here too.
Well, maybe we need a site visit then.
Do what?
Site
Oh, yeah,
visit.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's all.
But if we wait, I mean,
No, I got you there, I'm just,
Nate motioned, I'll
But
second that.
I didn't hear the motion.
Yeah, I made the motion that we move forward with
But
this.
these 3 things.
These 3 things in phases depending on what we can get done. And I was assured by the contractor that this is something that could be done even after your season.
Well, then you have, I mean, it has to be done before December 31st.
Right.
Otherwise, it's
But
not.
we can, whenever we can, unavailability or whatever, so.
Is that your motion?
Yeah, I motion that we move forward with this.
And a completion by December 31st?
Well, as much as feasible that we are able
All
to
right.
get done, because obviously, we're looking at the time, but I look for.
Unless the county wants to engage us.
Yep, unless,
Continues.
I'd love to engage the county on this. That's never happened.
I'm
in
gonna
my year.
support that again.
Got a motion and a support.
well,
Now there's discussion.
in for discussion, you have your
No,
liaison.
this discussion's for us.
Okay.
They wanna discuss, they just, I mean, if you wanna say something, ask, cause I'll recognize any commissioner on this, and ultimately after December 31st.
I mean, with, my theory on this is with the tension that you have on your public, that
yeah.
are, this is a hot button topic, obviously.
Disenfranchised.
Obviously, you've been involved in it, they've been to your meetings and they've been involved. And it is a beautiful setup, recreational wise, and it would be nice, great, but there is limited, very, very limited public access. You go down there, the beaten paths are, and like I said, there's nobody that spends more time there than I do. And the places that people go are the main roads, that's it. Cause nobody, there's very few people that are gonna walk from the parking area here all the way back
So
around.
those are walking trails as black lines?
No, this one would be an actual access, drivable access.
The one
And
to the
then
west.
The other one would be however you're able to develop these for the handicap.
Disability,
to-
that's our 80
yes.
acres of disability.
Right, that's the 80 acres, that would be that one there. Same thing with the main road going in if you fill the pond holes in.
Is there wetland issues here?
This is mostly, you'd have to look at it, you'd have to go through it. You'd probably have to, like, all these
Pick
other
your way
roads have
through
been
it.
gone through, you'd have to go through, but basically, it's not a swamp.
I think there is some wetland issues.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can go as far as you can go without it,
Yeah.
without, I mean, you're the man. Roy, what's your thought on this?
Yeah, there's numerous wetland issues. I mean, if you go where the black roads are.
Right. But what's your?
Well,
what's your-
I'm just putting them in there, I mean, I'm looking at, I'm not saying that's exact where you're gonna fall, you're gonna have to look at where you're able to go.
The 80 acres that was originally proposed for the, handicap was basically here, two places that it could have been done, and it was 80 acres. First one was here by what you guys call Stannis Street. That there was an 80 acres up there, and then the other one was the same,
Was that 80?
that dropped out.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay. But in so doing, to put it in, came the part that, maybe not right where the black lines are drawn.
Right,
But basically, you have to be able to somehow then guarantee that it's a handicap, right? Because otherwise, you put a blind out there, let's say it like it is, it's way out in the middle of the boonies. When the county originally bought this, there was a ton of it being, labeled no trespassing. A matter of fact, this whole piece in the north.
Oh, yeah, but those issues, I mean,
Right.
those issues have been addressed.
Have been
correctly.
addressed with some of the walking trails.
Right.
But if you open them up, and then you can't, the DNR, my understanding is right now, I've talked to Coulter numerous times because, Gary comes here, right? I mean, he comes in front of the board.
Sure.
And I asked Gary one time, so how would you limit your, whatever you wanna call it, buggy or whatever it is? How do you limit that from a four-wheeler? And he said, well, you just get the sheriff up there and he sets a deputy there. Well, we know that ain't gonna happen. But the point comes to, I think the DNR in their gem areas, you guys familiar with the gem?
Yeah.
Okay.
very well.
Is trying to figure that out too, that is, a regular side-by-side is what, 53 inches, I think, wide or something like that. But the four-wheelers are narrower. But I think these are narrower yet, so if they're like a wheelchair, then you're doing what? Handicap access at 36 inches? I think as long as you have a 36 inch.
I mean,
So-
that's something we
I mean,
would
that's
have
just
to.
part of the design.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, so I
Right.
think the DNR statewide is looking at this.
Yeah, but-
Because of Gary and others, to try to figure out, how would you do that? So you don't have the four-wheelers bombing through and everything else.
Well, we have gates now, so it's a matter of giving
Well,
hunters with disabilities access
here's
to
the
gates.
here's the deal. You aren't going to eliminate, and excuse my language, ladies, you aren't gonna eliminate the assholes from taking advantage of a situation. You're always gonna have those people, no matter what you do. You have them now. You have people, I was with Randy King the other day and we were making a loop around his property and he showed me where he had 5 stakes across the road blocking it off and somebody drove over him. somebody accessing his property came in, drove over.
So what-
You're always gonna have them, you're not gonna eliminate it, but what you do is you put it up, you publicize that this is for handicap accessibility, you sign it, put signage up on it and stuff, and you gotta have a little faith in human nature that there are gonna be more people out there than not that are gonna support this, and that are gonna be behind it. You can't say, I don't wanna do this, because somebody's gonna take advantage
No,
of
what
it.
I'm saying is you design it so it doesn't attach to all the walking trails, because once you do that, that four-wheelers will be everywhere. So
That's why we
you
contain
should
it
Design.
in this southeast.
Oh, yeah, that's why we leave that.
That's why we
west
leave
side.
it there, and we leave the rest of them with the barriers up.
I want to throw 2 more cents in here. First of all, we can put trails in through the wetlands, we can do that anyway. You don't need to
Yeah, as
permit
long as
that.
it's not big.
But my whole thing down there in that area is, correct me if I'm wrong, as I looked at the type map I have, walked it, for me, someone like me that used to buy timber, that's aspen down there, it's not very damn dynamic. For me, and most of it is. The dynamic parts, to be honest with you, are up here where there's
Right.
actually some cedar swamps,
And
there's a
hardwood.
couple of northern hardwood systems. And I'm coming from a different perspective, from interpretive perspectives. I personally don't care to walk through, I call it pecker pole aspen all day long. Okay, I do that for 10 years.
I do every
So-
day this time.
No, they're great for rough, it's great rough grouse having stuff, it's great. But for me, I'm just giving you my 2 cents on
Right.
on the area.
Well, we haven't done anything here as far,
Yes, we have.
it's just been back and forth arguing. And a
Well, I don't
motion-
think there's an argument.
No.
I think
I
this
get
is
that.
all positive.
I love the idea.
Yeah, we've had a motion and it's been seconded.
Then that easement
Yeah.
issue,
Been
the
talked
easement
about.
issue is over.
What's the motion now again? To look at it or?
No, to do
I
it.
motion that we move ahead with it as far as we can. I mean, we
Move
You
ahead
don't
with
have to
what?
support it.
Gotta
Can you
do
state
something
what,
in
can you
the
state what
motion.
you said, what the 3 things were? I wanna write that down. What are the 3 things?
You motion to move
Fill in the
ahead
ponds.
with.
I motion to move ahead with this project and to complete whatever we can in the time period, in the money period restraints, we look at financing that we can.
But what were the 3 things that you
The
said?
3
Fill-
things,
yeah.
number 1 is the access, to make a public access. To get, and this would be not only for the handicap, it would also, because it's gonna butt up to the trail, once the trail runs north, it's gonna be for people, hunters or what, like me, but a public access road, which would run east to west. And
So
that
you're
would be-
moving that gate up
Up.
like 40 feet.
You take the gate out.
Oh, but you gotta make sure that.
Right, or then you can limit your
barriers or
access.
whatever. Got
You
it.
can make a decision on how far you want it to go north
All right,
or
so we
whatever.
take that gate out
But
and make a parking area.
You make
there.
an access area, you make an access road that comes across here and meets at the point where they had access to begin with that got
West and
eliminated.
east, and that's a big area.
Yeah.
Open.
That's
what
huge. And then the number 2 phase is we fill in those holes in the other trail and put that trail back to the way it was before it got destroyed. And then the number 3 would be to developing the rest of the trail for people with disabilities. Because you'll still have the option of utilizing the road that we're gonna fill the holes back in. That can be a start. And then as you can progress to it and add to it, to go to the,
I
to
understand
the
that.
other, to the south.
Is that clear?
Is everybody, am I making any sense at all here?
It makes sense to me. Commissioner View, only because you're a commissioner.
Well, thank you. Doesn't make me feel any better,
It
but,
should.
is that county land?
All colony land.
No, where you wanna move the gate. That's, I mean.
No, that's not an
No, it's
easement.
not. It's
That's
on an
owned by the
easement.
dis- That's a district gate.
Okay, that's a district gate
Yeah.
through that guy's property?
Mhm.
It's the extreme northwest corner of his property.
Okay, so it's
There's
not
an
an issue,
easement.
it's not an issue.
Not unless you,
No, I'm just.
not unless
I'm not
you-
gonna give it away.
you
Yeah,
sure?
not unless you wanna give it away.
You gave away one, but that's
Well,
okay.
if that's in the written agreement, I have
Well,
no
they all,
issue.
yeah, that one well, you know what,
I'm
great
just
question.
asking.
I have no idea, but you know what? I can demonstrate that's our gate, and there is a legal easement
Because
there.
number two backup plan, and I know
need
it's.
the right information, that's all.
Oh, you'll
And,
get it.
and I know what Steve's getting at, and backup plan is we pursue the access first, the easement. And if there's an issue with it, and there's a problem with it, you can also come in from the district's property.
Oh, just.
And just
Move it forward.
move it forward, and that's what that's
Yeah.
what he's looking,
Got
one,
it.
one way or the other. But the legitimate thing is the access, if there's easement on that road, it needs to be opened up.
All right.
Would this satisfy the grant funding that's in question?
Oh, yeah, for
That's
sure.
that's the goal.
That's one of the goals,
Yeah, we're telling you,
I mean, that's why I put it forth, and that's why I read it to you to begin with.
it's a readjustment, just like what we worked on with OB Fuller.
It's, a
Which is
special
really-
trail will be developed for persons with disabilities only. And then approximately 80 acres will be set aside for permanent hunting blind placement and use for persons with disabilities. This use will be regulated and registered to ensure enjoyable and uninterrupted experience.
That's the original grant agreement?
Yep, that's in the application narrative to the original grant, because the original grant will just state it as not being, you know,
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Kenny Buckholz.
Yeah.
You know what? I think maybe reel it in and should I call the question?
Yeah.
Is there any more discussion? All right, let's roll call. Please.
Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Joe,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Glenn,
Abstain.
Nate.
well, I'm not gonna vote no now, yes.
I'm sorry, what was your vote? Just say it.
Yes.
Okay. That motion carries. And this, you're gonna work this out for us.
Yeah, I've already did some
All
groundwork
right.
looking into it, and I will.
Probably needs to be put out,
Review it if I'll-
and there probably
reach out
needs,
to you and,
and there needs to be a bid process, so
yeah.
Quick one.
a quick one. Oh, man, I don't know if I can do D.
Oh, no.
I think I've done enough. Let me just look at it. Steph, Rory, man, you just gotta communicate with us more. I'm not gonna put a motion together, a timesheets, work duties, credit card, I mean, well, you know,
And I don't disagree with you.
okay, I'm
Joe.
looking at some of the credit card stuff and travel. Man, there's a lot of food on that credit card, and I remember when I talked to you, you said that food, you have the only credit card, so I see some food reimbursement for meetings, but I see a lot of food. I don't know what that food spending's about.
Well, a good example is we just had the tree sale, right?
Yeah, that's one,
And
but,
Pat's
Yeah.
practice then, for the employees and everything there, the district treated them to lunch. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff.
okay, but
That's
it's
something, again, the
No, it
personnel,
takes
that's why I wanted.
staff, I get it, we just don't have time, man, there's just,
Okay.
but we'll work together on that.
Okay,
I just, my wish is better communication. Because, these meetings are killing all of us.
well, I don't disagree in that, and hopefully when this park closes and I
Yeah.
can get the stuff done, because I'll be honest with you. I had 91 hours, by Tuesday, so I don't, that's 2 weeks, not one, not 1 week.
Oh, okay.
And again, I saw your head go, so I knew what you were saying. But, in 2 weeks, I'm supposed to do 80, then I work, Wednesday and Thursday, so I don't mind doing it, but, when you gotta have some understanding, when you guys let Tina go, I'm not anything about it, that really put a lot to me, and when Steve didn't show up the last 2 weeks, because the park's still open, and Fuller, it put a ton of extra.
Right.
I gotta say something, I'm sorry.
So I'm just trying.
I know, but your contract calls for you getting $50,000 when you walk out the door.
I'm just saying the communication part.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta answer your
Yeah.
emails, and when we ask for something, and access to stuff, we need to get our electronic stuff settled and farmed out so that the new person that gets hired to replace you doesn't walk into a nightmare.
I agree, Joe.
So when I ask for a PIN or an account or where this is or where that is, man, it has to be like, I don't wanna wait like, you know, a month. And you know, like these meeting minutes, I mean, these things are almost complete. You pretty much only have to read through it and fill in the blanks.
But I can't remember, what was that, a 4-hour meeting?
You don't have to, I did it for you and the board did it. I
Well,
mean,
that's right, so.
You never recorded these meetings in the past. I mean, the meeting minutes were so thin, it only,
Well, the board
These are
only wanted
complete.
motions and what? But-
read through them.
But if you remember at the end of that meeting, you walked over to me and said, I know you're busy, I will take a load off you and I will do the minutes. I walked away from it.
Yeah, I got 7 pages here.
Well, but that was
1,600.
why.
1,601 minutes. I went through over a 2-day period so we could make this happen,
That's
so we
what
could
I'm
go to the
saying.
bank and sign these things. They needed this. And that was on September 29th.
But then when you asked me to review it.
I just want you to
I'm
go
doing
through,
all
it's
this
like,
other stuff.
yeah, but approval of treasurer's report, motion by blank, second by blank. That's all I'm missing. It's like, this stuff
I
is so.
don't know that by heart.
I know, that's all you have to go back to. If you have a recording, send it to me and I'll finish it up. I'm just going after what was live streamed and there was a couple of blanks. I mean, I don't mind doing these meeting minutes and then put it on Glenn to catch the mistakes for both of you. But I mean, you know, like the Yaris, $3,000, $2,500. I mean, if that gets entered as a mistake, I mean, just gotta read them. I mean, it took me, yeah.
All right,
In
moving
this
forward.
Yeah, thank you. Park supervisor,
Didn't you guys do that?
I think we did, and public record destruction, we talked about that. Last but not least, Attorney General assistance. Where we are now, we asked the Attorney General just for the easement issue. And according to the DNR is reviewing that. So whether or not that's in our wheelhouse or not, I have no idea. But I wanna revisit Glenn, because he had a great idea and I think we shut him down too quickly. Do you remember what that was, Glenn? August 23rd, Glenn, right out of the gate, said he would like to, he motioned to have the district employ the services of the state of Michigan or a special counsel conduct a forensic investigation of all administrative activities and advise the board of any legal action. That's not what I was looking for. I think counsel or AG assistant. I think we should reach out to the AG and ask him, can they provide us legal services over all these issues that we're talking about?
Didn't you guys do that? Not
We did it for the easement. No,
8C? No, under 8C today? Motion to send out a 4
No, I want something specific to be able to ask the Attorney General for district-specific legal services, and maybe that will save us having to hire a new attorney to help us navigate contracts, public record stuff. That's what I would like to see. And Glenn, I think, had it in the beginning, and we tabled it, I think, because there's a lot of abstentions. I'd just like to revisit it. I think the Attorney General, at least the way that Conservation District law is written, they could provide legal services to a district, and I think we should ask them to help us with these contracts, with these projects that we're responsible for, our fiduciary responsibilities, this public record stuff. I mean, there's a host of things. I don't know if they're gonna take it, but we can at least ask.
Yeah, and are they relatively responsive?
All we can do is ask for legal services. That's what the law provides.
Yep.
And our request to them was limited to that easement that we talked about on the Cornell Forest property. You know, ultimately, that's the trust fund, that's the DNR. I think we should go back to the well and ask them, and if they don't respond, then we'll keep shopping for a new attorney to replace Mr. Burkhardt.
Do we need a motion?
Oh, yeah, I think we
Okay,
do.
then I'll make that motion.
Motion, and I'll second it. So motion to request legal services from the Attorney General of Michigan to look into these outstanding issues regarding public records, regarding our contracts, regarding our financial concerns. Do you wanna discuss that?
I think we did.
All right, wanna roll call that for us?
Yep.
Joe,
Yes,
Mike,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
Nate.
Yes.
all right. That is the end of the business. We have a one thing, is there another meeting next week? I won't be here on the 25th.
Yeah, I think there is one scheduled for the 25th, isn't there?
25th.
Yeah.
25th, do you
Yeah.
wanna keep that?
Yes.
Okay,
Let me ask you guys a question.
yeah,
We gotta make sure the treasurer's report is up to snuff. Since we had this meeting, there really won't be a lot of stuff coming from me or the district. I don't know what you guys are gonna add, covered a lot here. If we canceled the meeting on October 25th, we got one right behind it on November the 8th. Could we just keep that one?
So we wanna skip the one on the 25th?
I'm not gonna be here for either of them, so, my
We weren't
preference.
gonna have this when we said it,
Right.
that's why we said it.
I'm back November 12th.
Do we have anything that's gonna be pertaining? I don't see
I don't
anything.
think there's gonna be a lot.
Do we do it if we do it November 13th, I
No.
think I can be there.
Don't be
You wanna do it on
silly.
13th?
Can you handle Thursday?
Yeah.
Friday?
No.
Remember, it's Monday.
So I need a motion to, cancel the October 25th meeting. And
Move
change
the November 1 to the 13th.
from the 9th to the 13th. Does
9th
that
to
work
the
for everyone?
13th. Does that work for you, Roy?
They'll have to.
Works for me.
Who wants to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Guys are flying. Glenn, you were the second?
Second.
Okay, and then it's just no roll call, just.
We can roll call,
No,
please.
you don't have to do
Okay.
roll
we
call.
don't.
Yeah,
Aye.
Motion passes. Aye, opposed? Motion carries. I think that's the end of our business. Turn it over to
Oh,
November,
yeah.
November 13th.
November, a
We're
month
just
from
in the midst of writing.
today, October 13th, that'd be November 13th.
No, we're gonna have to check. We don't have the room reserved, but.
Right.
I'm guessing you'd want here at 2:00.
That'd be great, yeah. Can you set up those two?
Yeah, well, just setting up one.
Oh,
Cancel
you're right,
the other.
I know you
Yeah,
did.
yeah, thank you.
Um,
Yeah, okay.
What date is November 13th? So we gotta get.
Monday.
Does that work, Monday?
Yeah, no, that don't matter. I just wondered if for county board meetings or whatever, I didn't know what day it was.
All right. Are we good? Are we set?
Yep.
Let's move on to general public comment. Ann, please.
Ann McNamara. I think that the project that Nate was talking about, making it accessible, it sounds great. My only thoughts about it is that things always take longer than you think they're going to. I would think, or I would hope, as a member of the public, that filling the holes would be a top priority and probably the easiest thing that could be done. I think it's a liability for the county, and I have, since I fell in there myself, brought that to the board's attention, never a comment from, nothing from the county. And, I didn't hurt myself bad enough, I had to go to the doctor, but it scared me. And if I had been out there with a young child or something, they could have fallen in there. It's a danger. It's what's sometimes called an attractive nuisance. And it prevents people, like I guess the signs say, don't go near. Those could be filled, I think, relatively easy and would be in keeping with the project that you're hoping to start. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else?
Chris Williams, Fort River Township. I would like to make a suggestion that the gate, which the Conservation District owns, which is currently on Gary Stanek's property, if you're gonna remove that gate, a good use for that gate would be to put on the road access that leaves Mr. Mattson's property and goes to that food plot, which there's no other way to get to that food plot other than through Mr. Matson's property or bushwhacking through the forest. But you would gate that off. Otherwise, I find that a little bit insulting that the person who is, managing the facility currently has this ability to access a private area on public land with no one else being able to do that from any of those adjacent property owners. So you could obtain or you could cut that access off by putting a gate there and providing access on that North New Road, which would go right to that food plot, and then the public would have access to that food plot. So just a suggestion.
Thank you. Tina, please.
I suggest you read again the Open Meetings Act, the Director's Guidebook, the District's Uniform Accounting Procedures, the Michigan Department of Treasury Chart of Accounting for Districts, and the Operation Manual and all 9 appendix. I believe the board is violating district policy, Open Meetings Act, and making decisions without board insurance. I suggest you hire someone to do the minutes because they do not properly reflect the meeting. Joe is rewarding things, leaving things out, and the board is just agreeing with what he says. Hire someone from the county's clerk who has no bias with either side. Because I feel Joe has been doing the minutes and revising what was already done to favor his wording, and it's not proper transparency. Allowing others in the public to pop in and allow them access to QuickBooks is a violation of privacy rights to all employees. And what's up with this new direction that you're going with? Four new board members, 2 on August 23rd, we heard you say the board is going in a new direction, yet never heard you speak about it in an open meeting. Nowhere and to whom, or so where and to whom this was discussed, and who was present? Do all board members know of this direction? Are all board members on board with it? This is not portrayed as transparency. I believe most of you are here only to go after Rory. You all sit so in your comments stating what was wrong and what you're doing to fix it, and do not have the district values and mission at heart. What was done in the past boards is done. You can only change it for the future and make it known, not just suggest things and throw them around. I suggest you study the meaning of nepotism and conflict of interest. All of your decisions made here have been without board insurance. If no one has told you or the state police hasn't contacted you yet, let me inform you all. I have charges against the district board for wrongful termination of employment laws and violations of the Open Meeting Act. And is there 6 board members here or 5?
4.
Who's appointed? Is there 5 or 6 members? That's it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public comment?
Yes, I have one. Ashley, I just want to remind the district that we do have a contract, and the contract says the first one, which is Appendix A. Each year, this conservation district is entitled to 10% of earned revenue for administrative operational costs. Therefore, that $50,000 is administrative services. So that would be covered under that 10% that you have already stated you're gonna collect. Alongside that, we had a new contract that was signed in May. The Delta County Conservation District will bill the county for only Conservation District employee wages for operations of the parks up to $21,000. And non-payroll related expenses that the CD incurs for the park operations management or any authorized projects that need to be completed. So right there states that $50,000 and up to 21. Thank you.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Anyone else for public comment? Public comment? Would anyone else like to address the board with public comment? Thank you very much. Board member comments. Nate, we'll start with you.
I'm good, I've talked enough today.
Okay, Glenn? Thank you. Michael?
Been a lot of conversation. Trying to formulate my mind here. I think, I'm just gonna address one thing that Tina said, was whether there was a new direction. I remember hearing the statement, and I think it just goes without saying that transparency is probably the number one direction that this board is going, which is why all of the other things surrounding that statement are going on. And hopefully, in a very short time, this will be a very transparent board. And
Dave, anything else, Mike?
that's the end.
All right, and I, like always, have spoken plenty. So thank you very much for your attention. Really appreciate your participation. I think it's great to see. I accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Thank you very much.
When I worked